Hello and welcome to episode 36 of Things We Play. It's Tuesday the 25th of September. My name's Mike Olben and I am joined by Sean Hart.
Hiya.
And Joe Tanetta.
Hello.
He put me off with his sort of hiya. It was much chirpier than normal.
Mixed it up.
That's fine. That's okay.
Keep you on your toes.
Guys, how are you? It's been a week. Joe, how are you?
I'm good.
You good? You
Yeah.
good? You got a nice bright green t-shirt on today?
Yes, I
It's
have a green
bold
t-shirt on.
It's a bold colour.
Yeah, I know.
Did you no reservations putting on this morning? You didn't go, oh, just go with it.
No, not at all.
No.
I was just like, t-shirt, put it on. That was it.
Did you wake up and go, it's green t-shirt day?
Here's one gear, go.
Yeah.
No, I had no thought about my, outfit today. I just grabbed the first t-shirt I had and put it on.
Same as every day.
Pretty much, yeah.
It works. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a common trait, I think, amongst gamers. It's just sort of like, I just put on whatever I was already wearing. Yeah, so you're good, Joe?
Yes.
Why are you good? Tell me about yourself. Imagine this was a dating agency and you were making a video to attract, a potential, I don't know, let's say a woman. Give that a go, why don't you? And then, what would you say? How would you sell yourself?
Those videos never go well.
No.
I can never do it right.
Hi, my name's...
But he has tried. It's on several occasions.
Hi, my name's Joe. I'm 20-something years old. I like green t-shirts.
Battlefield.
Yeah, if you like green t-shirts and Battlefield, then just replied. And it's always like isn't it? I mean, it's like a weird way of replying normally in these things. You can't they never post it's never just email me at joe@imgreatinbed.com or whatever. It's always sort of reply to this PO box of a load of codes, and then I don't know. It's handled by a third party.
I have no clue whatsoever.
Are you sure? You said that with confidence, but
I've never used a dating site of any sort.
That's never needed to.
No.
Just walks into a room. Women for half the room keels over, the other half becomes instantly pregnant. That's just the men. Yeah, good stuff, Joe. What have you been doing? Tell me about your week.
I've done nothing major this week. I've just been getting back into the swing of working and playing some games, watching some stuff.
Still employed?
Yes.
Good man.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
Okay, so you've been working, that's fine. You normally watch a load of stuff. You never normally do much, really, to be honest. We just rely on you to go, I watch this film.
I did watch Total Recall this week.
Yeah.
To catch up with you two.
Not good, though.
It's alright.
No, it's not.
No,
It's not alright.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
I don't mind it so much.
It's not really allowed.
To be fair, you're quite easily pleased when it comes to big screen entertainment.
I don't know.
Why? So, yeah, why?
I don't know. I just didn't mind it so much.
Maybe, but then you don't have do you have such fond memories as we do of the original Total Recall? I think that's probably...
the original Total Recall was amazing. I'm not saying this film's good. I'm just saying I didn't mind it. It's not like
I didn't mind it. It didn't hurt me.
Yeah, I'm not going to go back and watch it again. But
I mean, you quite like sitting down.
Yes.
So the film's already in your good books.
Yeah, it just didn't offend me.
All right, no, that's fine. Total Recall, yeah. Still, my view of that has not changed. No, it has a bit. I like it even less.
Yeah, if the only way it could have been worse if it was a direct copy of Total Recall.
Yeah.
The reason I don't mind it so much is the fact they tried to change it.
Where do we stand on these things? It's an interesting discussion, actually. Where do we stand on these reboots, remakes, reimaginings? I mean, they're all bloody same, but on where do they change? Do you want them to change stuff, or do you want a scene by scene remake?
It depends on what it is. Some things you want it different because the original was alright, but Give
me an example. What is something that or something that either has been made that it was made with changes, or something that you would like made with changes?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory versus Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, it was made terrifying.
Yeah.
The same goes for Alice in Wonderland. It's like Tim Burton just made it fucking terrifying.
I don't know, Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I don't find it terrifying.
It's frightening.
Ella quite likes it.
No, I don't like that. But okay, so that's maybe there's better examples. But yeah, do you want changes? Is that what you want? It's the same with video game movies, because they always make that argument of we're never going to tell the game story again because you know it, and so we're not going to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with comic books as well. They did kind of do it with Spider-Man.
I would
Batman
want
stuff.
a Halo movie, for example, to just tell me Halo 1's story. I don't want it to tell me anything else. I just kind of, I liked that story. I'd quite like to see it as a movie. I'm not for the changes. I would like a direct update of Total Recall rather than you going, Mars ain't in it.
Yeah, but would you want Colin Farrell running around in a direct copy of Total Recall?
No, but I wouldn't have cast Colin Farrell on anything. Anyway.
Yeah, I know, neither would I, but, this is the thing. Some films you don't want a direct copy because it won't be the same and they'll just ruin it. If they try to change it, then you still have the fond memory of the old one not being pissed all over by the new one.
I prefer if they didn't do it at all, but if they are going to do it, that it's better. You have to be confident that you're going to make a film better.
There's too many aspects that go into that makes it difficult because you're not just like breaking down the bare knuckles of the films of like, has it got all the same bits? Yeah, okay, that bit was cool. Like a bit that was cool then might not still be cool now. But then on top of that, you've just got nostalgia, right? And you can't fuck with nostalgia. It's one of those things that just wins every single time. It's why when we go back and play games for Educating Joe that we loved, they're not great.
But if your film is worse, then you're not off to a good start.
No, I suppose, but
if it's better, then
how do you judge that? How do you judge that?
People
how do you judge that whether it's better or not?
Well, not have a shit script for a start.
Right.
A good director, good
so,
cast.
Okay, so let's the scripts then. What
people
do we do?
that can act. So do generally help.
Yeah, I know, but that's. I would argue they're probably not making. They're not going. Well, we're remaking RoboCop, but unfortunately we've got a shit script and a load of people that can't act. I think they probably still go at it the same way as they would a normal movie. But would you want the same script? Like RoboCop's a good example. They're remaking RoboCop. How do you want it?
It's going to be hard to top the script of the original.
But do you want just original RoboCop, or do you want a new RoboCop?
I don't know. I don't know until it turns up because the new RoboCop might be better.
But okay, so. But at this point in your life,
I haven't read the script, so I can't really comment.
But do you want more RoboCop, or do you want the same RoboCop? You can answer that without seeing the script.
I would have preferred that they just produced a sequel.
So you do want more RoboCop?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you do want more different RoboCop?
Yeah.
But not necessarily.
I don't.
G.I. Joe RoboCop.
I guess bastardizing stuff is bad. You should just make more of it. And
I guess, but then if you keep doing that, we're stuck in like the Batman seat. We would never had Dark Knight. We would still be in Batman and Robin territory as they just reiterate on that. At some point, you'll go, do you know what? Yeah, stop it.
No,
someone take Chris O'Donnell out.
Because it's a reboot as opposed to a remake.
No, we're not breaking it down into that.
No one said we're remaking Tim Burton's thing.
No, sure.
It was a reboot.
Okay. But that's your option, isn't it? If you're not carrying on the series, but you want to do it again, you've got to do that. You can't,
Yeah.
Remakes are a different territory, I guess, but it's horrible.
Yeah,
it's like there's no ideas left. Why is there a Total Recall film now?
They just want to go, Total Recall used to be great. We'll just, try and put it on the new 20-year-olds. Just try and make it cooler.
I don't even think they were thinking of Total Recall at all, the original Total Recall. Just thinking, oh yeah, there's a story. We could make that.
Probably. Just trying to...
Yeah, just like, that's a story.
People know the name Total Recall. We'll just tack it onto a script someone gave us somewhere.
There's a story.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fair enough. It's just because there's a lot of remakes. We were talking the other day, Sean and I, about, at some point in the future, within our life, we're going to see there's going to be a Back to the Future remake, right?
Probably.
There's already been interest
put
about by people, and it's sort of like, well, at some point that's going to happen, and that's going to be hard. But I'd love it. I still that I'm okay with. I kind of just... You can't carry on. Like, I do not want the Back to the Future 4 by any stretch of the imagination. No way. That can't be done.
But a spin-off can be done.
Even a spin-off, though, I'm not sure. I'd rather just, like... I want that same story again, done now, with, like, it doesn't even have to be a car, but it should be. But, like, I'd be happy with that. It's just a cool story.
Maybe.
Yeah, well...
I reckon a Veyron would be good.
No, that's a bit too special.
It's 162 miles an hour.
No, you need a car that no one really likes, but looks partially cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like...
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's something out there.
Like a Fiat Uno. It doesn't matter. I don't think that matters too much. But I wouldn't mind seeing that story updated again. But I just can't have any more onto that original series, because you like you were saying, Joe, you run the risk of sullying the whole series.
Yeah.
Also, Michael J. Fox aside, it's not going to happen either. No one in that original film, in any of those original films, is still available to really do any decent work these days. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But then it's wouldn't get a trilogy, I bet you.
Probably not, no.
You know, you're just talking like one movie, but I don't know. Back to the Future, great film. Anyway, so yeah, you watched. What did you say you watched?
Total Recall.
Total Recall, yeah. Screw Total Recall. Look what you did. You just burnt 10 minutes. Anything else, Joe?
Not really, no.
No, just a bit of game playing. I hope.
A lot of Borderlands.
A lot of Borderlands. All right. Well, we'll come to that.
Yep.
We'll come to
I
that.
know.
Ease yourself. What about you, Sean? How's your week been?
Up and down as per usual.
As per usual.
It's still got technical issues of an entirely different nature now.
Yeah, you just have a habit of breaking. You just break everything. You break everything. I can't handle it. I don't like it. You're like a human EMP.
Yep. I'm surprised he hasn't broken the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. What's broken in your life now?
Toaster?
Ah,
Toaster died.
don't.
It just exploded.
Don't.
I don't even think I was in the house.
Don't. It's horrible.
And my laptop.
Oh no, forget that. Hang on. One at a time. One at a time. The toaster's dead.
It's alright, toaster's been replaced.
Has it?
Yeah.
With another toaster?
Yeah.
Not just like I'm using the grill. A grill is not a replacement for a toaster.
No.
Not in any stretch of the imagination. It's horrible. No one likes grilled toast.
I don't even have a toaster. I just use a grill if I have toast.
Oh, Joe, I'm sorry.
Primitive.
But I don't have toast.
Well, and then, yeah, less of an issue.
Yeah.
Why don't you have toast?
I don't know. I'm just not a massive fan on toast. If I do end up having toast, it's got beans on it.
Okay.
So you know
And that's a meal.
Yeah.
That's not something. Because one of the beauties of toast is that it comes with its own. That you eat the handle, right?
Yeah.
You know, you pick it up by the handle, and the handle is also the toast, and the toast is what you eat. So that's fine. It's just gone, instant. No need for plates, no nothing. Just a piece of toast. It's like its own serving. It's perfect. Perfect food. But beans on toast, meal. It comes on a plate.
You've got to use a knife and fork.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
You
None of the
can't eat that crap
beans
with your
stay on the
hands.
toast. None of the beans stay on the toast. You end up eating a soggy piece of bread and then some beans afterwards.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow.
But I don't really eat toast, so, you know.
Marmite in beans. Spoonful of Marmite in the beans. Beans on toast. Marmite beans on toast.
A little bit of cheese in there.
A little bit of cheese in there if you want.
You guys are getting like crazy
Yeah.
deep on your.
Welcome
on
to
your
Cooking
beans.
Hour. Things we eat when desperate. Yeah. You know, like you just, bit of Marmite. Bit of Marmite and everything. Why not?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I've never really thought of adding Marmite to anything.
Does Shake Away do a Marmite milkshake?
Probably.
I don't know.
I hope so.
They do some messed up stuff.
Okay, so your toaster's broken.
No, the toaster's fine now 'cause it's being superseded.
By Ultimate Toaster. Is it a better toaster?
It's
I made the
pretty much the
investment.
same.
I made the investment of a 4 slicer.
Oh man!
And,
if only I had
yeah.
4 slices.
Very
4 slice
rarely,
toast in my life.
very rarely use it. Very rarely want 4 slices of toast. Quite often want 3. That's the thing. Quite often want 3. So really only using one side. But there's times when you do need a 4 slice toaster, and you're like, whoa, I got this. Like you're sitting around, you're watching, I don't know, The Walking Dead or something, and you're like, just some toast. So, and they're like, yeah, I could go for some toast. That'd be fine. You're like, do you want some toast as well? Yeah, I'll have some toast as well. All right, not a problem. Not a problem. I'll just do you some toast. All done. Because the second round of toast in the same slot cooks differently to the first slot. We all know this because it's hotter, right?
Right.
First one, it's like cooking a pizza from frozen or a pizza from fresh. You need to understand these things. So 4 slice toaster is luxury.
Yeah.
Like even if it doesn't get used.
I am envious of your toaster.
Yeah.
So mine's only 2.
Has anyone tried anything else in a toaster? Just while we're on the subject.
Like.
Finder's crispy pancakes.
No.
Fish fingers.
No.
You used to be able to get, or you can get them. You can get those as seen on TV bags that you
Yeah,
put stuff in.
I've used those, yeah.
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 And what is it? It's just a bag you put anything in a toaster. And it
It's
doesn't
like you can make
destroy it.
like a sandwich, and you put it in.
Sandwiches
Yeah.
with like
Okay.
the whole grill press.
You can
thing.
do fish fingers in them, I believe.
Right.
Anyway, that came out. But when I was younger, it was like, well, we didn't have those. And we didn't need those. We just put that stuff in the toaster
You just
anyway.
put it in the toaster.
Oh yeah, I used to have a mate that used to put cheese sandwiches in the toaster. Had no issue. I mean, yeah, the toaster was not in the best shape, and I don't know. It's definitely probably not still working now. But it was just, that's cool. I'll just put it in. Just put it in the toaster. You didn't need the bag. Bags are for pussies. But fish fingers you can do them in toaster.
Well,
Anything you can grill.
the
Sausages. Frozen? Yeah, that's all right. Defrost them. In the
Defrost
toaster.
them. What?
Put them in twice. Maybe turn that dial up from 4 to
10.
6. Anything you can grill, put in a toaster. Pizza in a toaster. Can you grill a pizza? You can't really.
Generally,
it's more of an oven.
Yeah.
All right, so your toaster's dead, but you got a new one. That's
Yeah.
good. What else happened? Your laptop died.
Yeah.
You killed your laptop.
Joe, I reckon Joe did it.
Joe, what did you do?
I didn't do anything.
He
I
assassinated
came up to get a controller. He comes downstairs. We have a chat. I leave. The next day, he tells me his laptop's broken. It's all my fault.
Yeah. Yeah. So while you were at the front door tending to Joe's needs,
Yeah.
something happened.
There was a bang, a whiz, and a puff of smoke, probably.
Yeah. No, your laptop doesn't do anything.
Nothing. Zip. Zero. Zilch. Nada.
It's good news. I don't know how you do it. We did joke. You only just had that laptop because it was my old one, and
That's what we used to record the podcast.
yeah, a lot of memories. And we were only joking about how long it would last. You've had it about 2 months,
Yeah.
and it's dead.
Yeah.
Great. Good
Well
stuff.
done.
But at least I managed to fix the other PC that you broke, which was the other one I gave you years ago.
Yeah.
So you've at least been able to play some FTL.
Lots.
Yeah. Which is probably, I think, what broke the laptop.
That's why I
Possibly.
think you were just putting too much FTL into that laptop,
Yeah.
and it just couldn't handle it.
I mean, I'm quite glad because that was my laptop. So I'm kind of glad that, like, my laptop didn't break. Because all of my stuff, all of my important stuff that's on my laptop, I had to get off the laptop because I was giving the laptop to you.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't done that, that would all be stuck in a laptop somewhere. So
instead, it's
you know.
backed up onto my removable hard drive.
Yeah, well, and on this laptop. But you took, you took a bullet.
Yeah.
You know, well, I say you took a bullet. You also fired the shot. So
I reckon Joe did it.
you know, that's fair enough.
Joe did it.
All right. Well, anything else on a happier note? That's the downside.
Yes, me and you and a mutual friend
Yeah.
had an awesome gaming night.
We did actually. Yeah, like and a proper late one.
Yeah.
Last week, which I haven't done in a long time. It was a proper like sit in a room and just play.
And I gave Electron FTL there.
Yes, you did. Did which were FTL being the space simulator RPG stat role playing point and click text adventure game thing that Joe talked about last week. We're going to talk about it again later on in the show because it's mental and we've all been playing it, but it's complex. And so yeah, you were good enough to give us a like a walkthrough, I suppose, of the game, which actually helped me a lot in terms of playing it. So hopefully you can do that again
I'll give it a go.
on the show. Yeah, that's cool.
It's hard without visuals.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good to have a gaming night. It was like proper dedicated. You know, when you just go around someone's house. It's better if you go around someone's house because it feels like more of an event. But you get there and you're like, this is it. Tonight is gaming.
Yeah, I do really miss the social aspect of gaming that you used to have kind of 10 years ago before this
everyone was
generation.
online.
Yeah.
I do miss it as well. Just sat around, just all huddled around one computer, just playing games.
Yeah, multi-taps, man.
Yeah.
Multi-taps.
Yeah.
You know? Because the multi-tap was... Anyone that bought a multi-tap was dedicated to that thing. It's like, yeah, do you know what? I'm taking the hit.
I'm a party gamer.
Yeah, like, I'm taking the hit. I'm going to go out and spend some money on this thing that does nothing, changes nothing about the way I will personally play games.
Yeah.
But it means that 3 friends can play with me. Bomberman, here we come.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I haven't done much this week. Really, to be perfectly honest. Watched a few films. In fact, you watched a film as well.
Yep.
Sean, that I watched.
The Raid.
The Raid, or The Raid Redemption, if you're in the
Yes.
US. You've seen this, Joe?
I have indeed, yes.
This film is mental.
It's awesome.
It's 90 minutes of action,
It is badass.
about 7 minutes of dialogue.
Yeah.
There's like nothing, like, it's, what is it? It's like 20 cops stuck in a building,
Yep.
30 floors.
Yeah. Just of gang members trying to kill him.
Yeah. And the film starts with them pulling up to the building and ends with them walking out. It's like the entire film is like, and go. And then just gunfire and knife fights.
Just so many awesome fights in that film.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's really, considering we were watching Resident Evil Retribution clips the other day, Sean and I.
Yeah.
We were watching the fight scenes in that, and it's just the amount of cuts away during the action, or cuts to different, just like, oh my God, man. Like 3 punches will have like 12 cuts.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see that the actors are kind of doing it in either slow motion or very sort of,
Dance like.
and it's and this was the complete opposite. This is just people slamming.
You've
people's
maybe
heads
got
into things.
four edits per fight.
It's nuts. It's a good film. I really
It is.
like it. A really weird film because it's directed by a Welsh guy, Gareth Evans, who I didn't know about, but has done a load of other like Hong Kong cinema style stuff. And it's Indonesian, isn't it? And it's sweet. We watched the. I don't know. I'd be interested to know what you watched, Joe. Sean and I watched the English dubbed version.
Yeah, I watched the English
That's
dub
what we
version
did,
as well, yeah.
Rather than subtitled, because because there's not much dialogue in it, you can kind of get away with it, and it's actually not badly dubbed.
It's done.
It's reasonably well done.
Yeah.
I did notice a couple of punch noises are in spaces where there were no punches, but there's so many punches.
Anyway.
There's so many punches that it's just like, the sound team would not have had an easy job with that. They also did change the soundtrack, didn't they, from the original release? They've got Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park and some other dude who worked on the Tron Legacy soundtrack to do it's got a very Linkin Park soundtrack basically, but it's an amazing film. Everyone should go and watch it. The Raid.
Yeah, it is awesome. It really is.
It's advertised everywhere at the moment, just because I think it's just hit Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thoroughly recommend that. Aside from that, the weather has turned.
Yeah.
It's gone from
against us.
Yeah, it's gone from summer to nasty.
I don't know. I like this weather. Not the rain so much, but I like the cooler weather.
Yeah, no, we haven't got to the cooler weather though. It's still been hot on occasions, but it's just raining. It's raining and it's windy and it's horrible.
Yeah.
I
agree with you.
All the goodness has been sucked out of the world.
I don't know. Today it's just sort of doesn't know if it's warm, cold, raining, or dry. It's just
raining.
all over the
It's
shop.
horrible. The hot pants have gone, Joe.
I never have hot pants. I'm sorry to say.
That's but when you put on a regular pair of pants, like a pair of jeans, they almost become hot pants, Joe.
Thank you. That's nice to hear.
That's good. All right. Well, look, we should probably talk about some games before someone listening blows their brains out. I don't know where should we start on this week's show. There's quite a lot of games to play, but there's a lot of obscure ones. It's an interesting mix today. Should we start with FTL? We mentioned it earlier. Should we just jump straight into FTL?
We can do.
Yeah.
Faster Than Light. I'd like to take this opportunity to apologise for Joe's description of the game last episode, because it made no sense whatsoever.
I would like to apologise as well. It was very hard for me to try and pull it across.
Yeah,
especially to two people that have never played it.
Fair enough, yeah. We've never played it. It's not a simple game, and that's not an easy task to anyone. So the thing is, though, in the meantime, we've all gone and played it for another week, and now we can talk about it a little bit better, because this game is hitting big at the moment. It's getting a lot of coverage everywhere, and if you've not played it, you totally should. So I think you can get online, just Google FTL, you'll be able to find it. It's Faster Than Light. It's about £7. It's on Steam, actually, as well.
Yeah, it's
isn't
on
it?
Steam, yeah.
But you can also get it direct from the developer. And it's crazy. It's like, all right, I'm going to give my brief description as to what it is, and then I'm going to hand over to Sean, who's played it the most. But it's like every time you play the game, you're in an episode of Star Trek, okay? And at the end of that episode, the ship explodes. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Because it's got some really cool sort of like choose your own adventure moments in it.
Yeah.
Which is the bit I really like, but we'll go into that. Sean, let us know some more in a way that people can understand.
Okay, so what you initially view is a top-down image of a spaceship, which is a cross-section, so you can see inside the ship. All the rooms are visible, and those are broken down into various functions: shields, weapons, doors, and other things.
And there's like a medical bay, and your O2, your oxygen, and your engines. All the main components of the ship.
Cockpit, yeah,
the systems.
Yeah, and they control various different things and have different purposes. Your enemy, so this is one of the things that we can get across from Joe last week, is when we was inquiring about combat, is how is that handled. Your enemy is viewed in exactly the same manner. So you can see their systems, but not necessarily inside their ship.
Yeah.
And then all weapons are on a timer, so they're charging up all the time, and you target what points on their systems that you want to hit. Am I right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. So you're a spaceship in space. You're leaving. What I found interesting about this game is you're the man. You're like the bad dude.
The Federation.
You're the Federation. The rebels are the ones coming after you, which is an interesting flip on the thing. And ordinarily, you'd be the other way around, right? So
you're a Federation. You're not an empire.
No, but you're still...
Federations generally, have something bad to their name.
You'd think ordinarily that the rebels would be the good guys. You'd be fighting for the rebel cause, right?
Yeah.
And this is like the rebels are screwing up. My issue is that you are legit in this game. You are a legitimate, proper, going by the rules, essentially, character within your ship. Your ship is not rogue.
No.
At all. And so they're constantly following you. So there's a timer on the actual game anyway that you're being pursued by the rebels, and if they catch up with you, they will destroy
you to move forwards all the time.
Yeah, so you jet about throughout the galaxy, throughout like a star map, almost like a Star Fox 64. Yeah, well, not Star Fox 64. Why did I say that?
Well, it's Star Fox 64.
Yeah, but Star Fox is what I meant.
Star Fox in general,
almost like Star Fox the roots.
Mass Effect.
Yeah. And every time you jump to a new spot, then an enemy or something happens, an interaction happens. Yeah. Normally, an enemy ship appears, or a ship that actually isn't an enemy, but in fact turns out to be an enemy. So you basically fight everyone. And then, like you were saying, you use your weapons, which are on recharges, to attack certain parts of the ship. So like maybe you'll take down their shields first, and then it'll be easy to just obliterate their engines, or you take out their guns so they can't fire at you. I personally quite like taking out the engines so they can't go anywhere. You're like, you're mine now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, especially if you're kind of attacking a forward scout for the rebels, it will warn you that they are charging up their faster than light drives anyway. So it's essential to take out the engines so they are crippled.
That's the only time I ever go for the engines, is if it warns me that they're going to try and jump away.
Sometimes I have had ships jump without a warning.
I never have.
Just ships just go, and they're gone.
Yeah. So it's the game's kind of roguelike in the fact that it's got permanent death.
Yeah.
And it's got the space galaxies or whatever are randomly generated.
Yeah.
So you never quite know what you're going to get, and there's a lot of dice rolls as to what's going to pop up next.
It's kind of working on a D&D system behind what you're viewing.
Exactly. If you imagine like a roguelike where space is the dungeon and your character is the spaceship, and then it's got an extra level on top of that with with your crew.
Yeah.
That you can move around your spaceship to enhance different features. So where you were saying earlier about there being different rooms for different sections, your engines and your shields, etc. If you move a character, start off with 3 crew members. You can pick up more, but you move them into different rooms to boost them. So you put a guy in the engine rooms, your engines will recharge faster. Yeah. And likewise with shields and various things. And also your characters level up within what they're doing.
If you keep them doing the same things over and over again, they then go up one level, and when you see your character is manning a station, if it's something he does on a regular basis, he'll have a star or 2 stars above his head. Yeah. Which shows that he's proficient in that, and it then boosts your bonus, basically.
Yeah. So I actually find that interesting, actually, because initially what you do is you leave all the players on the same ones. You're like, well, this guy is my pilot, this guy is my engine dude, this guy's my shield dude, or whatever, and you leave them there. But now I don't do that anymore, because I forget about them. And then it's like, no, you need to move them around, because they level up. So you can get all of the bars up if you move them around enough. There is an incentive to. Okay, he's my pilot, but wouldn't it be a good thing if he was also really awesome in the engine room? So once he's leveled up to a degree, I switch him over. I'm like,
I guess, but as soon as you move him out of that point, that thing loses its perk.
Yeah, sure, but I just want to get to a point where if I'm playing for long enough, where all my characters are super duper, rather than just because if someone takes him out, I'm like, I'm done.
This is true.
So there's lots of like micromanagement systems on top of this, on top of the general game. And you get quests within it as you're going around, where you might have to find a struggling space shuttle and take it somewhere else. There's distress calls where you go to certain planets that sometimes are traps, and sometimes are real. And there's fights. Basically, there's your 3 sort of main things you're doing.
Yeah, I mean the text-based story stuff just boils down to risks, as far as I can tell. I don't know if. For example, there's always one that I fail at every single time, where it says you've turn up somewhere and these people are being attacked by giant spiders. Send your crew over there straight away.
Yeah,
giant spiders are no joke.
Yeah.
Or just leave them be.
Yeah.
Yeah, with lots of those you can get a third option. So it depends on your crew. So if you have like an NG and you come across a broken ship, sometimes you can repair it instead of just salvaging.
Yeah. And sometimes there's a blue option, and a blue option is always fantastic.
Not always, but most 99% of the time.
So the story thing's really interesting. That's what I find the most interesting about the game. Is every time you go to a different point, it gives you a little snapshot, a little story snapshot where it says where you are, or what's happening, or if someone's attacking you, or anything like that. And then you get a point. You get literally like a choose your own adventure point, a splitting point with 2 or 3 options for you to go. And it's just the game saying turn to page 57 now, and then it reads on. And it's a really nice way of doing it. It puts a lot of emphasis back on you as to go use your imagination for this, guys. That's what you're doing, you know. And I really, really like that. It's also quick. It's all delivered in like a paragraph.
Yeah,
time.
the problem is a lot of the time I just don't read them now. So I've played a lot of this game. I think I'm up to kind of, I don't know, 26 plays now with 2 victories. And yeah, so a lot of the time I just click, and I'm like, oh shit, I've lost a crewman.
Yeah, that's not good.
You do have just some awesome moments throughout the game whilst playing through. I run out of fuel at one point.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Good.
That's mental because obviously you buy fuel. There's shops where you buy fuel and missiles and things for your weapons and upgrade stuff. But if you do run out of fuel, because I never buy fuel, you're just stuck there. You're a sitting duck.
You just have to wait and hope someone comes across you.
Yeah.
But there's a moment of panic as well as the red line's catching up with you whilst you're waiting.
The rebels are coming, and you can put your distress signal on.
Yeah.
There's an option to put on your distress signal so that then other people will come to your aid. But there's no guarantee it's going to be someone helpful that comes to you. And also, the rebels pick up on the distress signal and come at you faster because they can locate you. So that's it's nice. It's a nice little perk. There's weird stuff that happens in the game. I mean, it's short. To get from like beginning to end,
it's kind of like
you can do it really quite
hours.
quickly. But you play it over and over again.
Yeah.
But the nut stuff happens. You get boarded by people, and then they just start ripping you apart from the insides. You can run out of fuel, like you said there, Joe. It's just, I love it.
You get the moments where you jump, you come out of FTL jump next to a sun. It's always the worst one.
Yeah, because that's it. Before you've got any sort of long range scanners, you don't know where you're jumping to. It's just literally a random
yellow dot, and it could be anything.
Yeah, and if you come out next to a sun, there's solar flares, and your ship will start to catch fire,
and you have to kind of open all your little airlocks to suck fire out to drain the rooms of oxygen. Yeah. Which I also do when people board me. If they're in a secluded part of the ship, I'll open the doors behind them
to drop loads of the health. Yeah.
Before they start attacking my crew.
And if you go to the sun bit and you haven't upgraded your doors, the fire just spreads so quickly if you can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
So there's lots of stuff to worry about there. There's also things like when you go into a nebula and your like systems are knocked out.
You can't
see in all your
inside
rooms.
Ships, so if you get a whole breach, you the only time you notice once everything's pink.
Yeah, it's I love it when you are boarded and. They systematically take down each one of your systems. Like 3 guys will be on there. You're like, oh, well, I'm still fighting their ship for a start. That's what I'm concentrating on at this point. I'm trying to take down their shields and railroads because I'm still taking fire, right? And they're now on my ship, and I'm thinking, well, they're not in too much of a bad area. Then they take out my camera system, and I can't see my ship. And then you just see doors open. You just see go as they're moving around the ship, and then all of a sudden the engines are down. You're like, well, we ain't going nowhere. I'm still battling this other thing. My guys are trying to fix stuff and put out fires. And you slowly watch them just take out system after system on your ship, and it's nuts. It's horrible. It's a horrible frame. When it goes wrong, that's the thing about this game. When it goes wrong,
it can go wrong fast.
It goes wrong so fast. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the pause button becomes such an important aspect to the game. Obviously, everything is on timers, but you're managing 2 almost entirely different games because you're battling the ship and you're concentrating on what's going on inside the ship. So that pause button allows you to strategize as to what you're going to do.
Well, and running away is not really a strategy because you can jump. A lot of times when I was in bad situations, I was like, well, I'm just jumping out of it, but you jump into another situation, you know, and you can be in a situation where you're like, shit, I'm getting absolutely destroyed by the ship ahead of me. I'm covered in fires. The lights have gone out. I've got a guy fixing the med room. I've just made it to jump. I'm going to jump because we're going to die. You jump and you come out next to a sun. And you're like, well, see you later. You know, and then within seconds, it's all over. And you're like, that's everything. That's Timmy, Bimmy, and Jimmy, all dead. And because you can name your characters, name your ship, it all kind of means a little bit. And you're like, man, that just went, like, I don't know what I did there. But like, because you can be, the previous jump, you can be on top of the world. You're like, I've got loads of scrap, which is your currency for buying stuff. I'm healthy, full shield, some dudes are kicking over well, this is nice. And then the next jump, obliterated. Yeah. And it's savage. You guys are playing on easy, I'm playing on normal.
Yeah.
It is hard. It is a hard game. I've not got to the end yet. But it's crazy good. It's crazy good.
Yeah, I mean the last boss he's badass. I don't really fancy trying him on normal really.
Yeah.
He's hard enough on easy in a 3-stage battle.
Yeah. And I've beat him twice.
Mm. It's a brutal game. It is a brutal game. It's interesting. This is a Kickstarter. They started the 2 guys that made it started a Kickstarter to finish the game.
Right.
And they asked for something like, I don't know, 20,000 or whatever and got like 200,000 or something.
Nice.
So it was a successful Kickstarter. They've said that they're going to update it, but not like to the frequency of Minecraft or anything like that. But there will be further updates because it's still a little bit janky. Actually, getting the damn thing to run in full screen mode can be a little bit tricky at times. And it's not perfect. It's quite bare bones in terms of say animation and visuals, although it still looks good. You know, it could have more work done on it, but it's absolutely worth checking out. If they could release an iOS version of this for iPad, I would be so in, because for touchscreen it would be perfect.
Yeah,
and it would just be awesome on there. So maybe Fast and Light, man.
Everyone should play it.
Everyone. Continuing the indie game theme, then a PC indie game at least. I played a couple of weird little things this week. I don't know, for some reason this week I started playing games on my PC. FTL was the start of it, but like I don't do that. That's not what this thing's for. I use this thing for Excel spreadsheets. Solely, only. I love Excel spreadsheets. I was watching a video actually yesterday online on YouTube of a game on Xbox Live Indie Games, right? It was a dreadful game, I can't remember what it was, it's not important. But in the explanation in the comments, the developer had gone on there and was explaining that he'd made all of the sprites and graphics for the game in Excel.
Right. That's already not boding well.
No, exactly. But that was like, he was like, yeah, go easy on me. I made them in Excel, and it's like, yeah, fair enough. But like, how struggling were you for that to be the program you decided to use to make your graphics in? Well, why not? You must have been able to get a free open source art editor, or just use Paint or something. Anyway, terrible.
I got $100 to put this game up online, but
I'm using Excel.
I can't get Corel Draw.
Yeah.
Or even Microsoft Free Paint that comes with my software.
Yeah, exactly. So that was just nuts. Anyway, but so I played a couple of indie games on the PC. I was going on Desura. Do you ever use Desura, Joe?
No.
No, it's kind of like almost like Steam, I suppose. It has a lot of indie games on it, and there's a lot of free games that you can grab on there for the PC. So it's also for mods and things. So yeah, Desura.com, worth checking out if you want to just play some free PC games. But I played 2 games. One was Delver, which was it's like a 3D roguelike again, sort of a bit like Die Hard Dungeon, but you're seeing it in first person. It kind of looks a little bit Minecrafty. Right. Everything's kind of sort of voxel based.
Okay.
And you're just tooling around through little caves, slicing at things with your sword, and exploring the worlds, and it's kind of cool. You go down levels into different sections. There was nothing more to it than that, really, apart from it looked alright. It had really cool visual effects. The lighting is brilliant because you get like magic weapons, like green bolts and blue bolts that you can fire out of staves, and as they go down through the level, they kind of light the entire cave.
Sure.
Which looks really cool. And it was simple based game. Again, permadeath. All the sort of things you'd expect from there's a big sort of resurgence for sort of roguelike similar games at the moment. And so that was one I checked out. That was a full game. You can get that on Desura. It's free. Delver. That's it. There was nothing. I'm not going to go on about it because it's not allowed to go on about it. But it's simple like, oh yeah, I'm exploring some caves. Oh right, yeah, cool. Oh shit, there's a monk. Monk's dead. Yeah, I'll go down a ladder. Yeah, all right. Yeah. So I played that. And then I also played a game called Flipped. Which is on Congregate, actually, good old Congregate.com, and was part of a competition held, it might not, I don't think it was this year, I think it was a year or so back, for people to make a first-person shooter. Well, they say they were called FPSs, right, but there's no shooting in this, so That's maybe not true, but to make an FPS in 7 days, that was the competition, and this was one of the entries for it. And it looks really cool. It's called Flipped. It's like, did anyone ever play V? How many Vs? 6 Vs?
I know what game you mean. I haven't played it though.
V was a great game. Another game you should check out. I think it's also on Congregate, but it's a 2D side scroller where you play as a little character, and the mechanic is if you hit the space bar, the world flips upside down.
Right.
Okay, and he then falls to the ceiling, and that's how you negotiate.
The world
perils, right. So you can like get over spikes by flipping and walking along the ceiling, and sometimes you'll have to like flip it one way, then flip it immediately back, and flip it one way to keep him hovering in the air, right? This is exactly like that, except for from a first-person perspective. So it kind of visually looked a bit like a cross between Portal and Mirror's Edge, that sort of clean laboratory style looking. But you're just running around. You can't jump. There's no moves. You're just looking around and walking. And if you hit the spacebar, you'll affect gravity. But you can only do that when you've picked up like these power orbs
Okay.
that are in the level. So you pick up one of those, and then you'll be able to change it once, and then you need to pick up another one. So you'll go along, there'll be an orb, then suddenly there'll be like a pit of water that you can't go over, so you hit the space bar, it'll flip it over, you walk along the ceiling, and you past it. That's the most basic puzzle. But then there's ones where in the air, in order to change back, you've got to then you'll hit it to fall, hit the spacebar to flip gravity, start falling, control your fall, and have to pick up another orb, then hit the spacebar to flip back. Yeah, and it gets quite cool. It's only like 5 levels.
Oh, okay.
There's a nice little portal Easter egg in there behind a secret wall, and there's some VVVVV references as well. But really nice little game. It looks fantastic for it all running in your browser. Through Congregate, it looks amazing. I think it's a Unity engine game, but really nice sort of proof of concept. I really kind of enjoyed that. I don't know, it doesn't do anything more than that. It's just kind of some bastard hard puzzles, where you can't see. There'll be ones where you're like falling down a shaft, and at the bottom of the shaft there'll be some spikes or water or whatever, and then there's a little door on the left, and you have to get right to the bottom before you hit the space bar and just have it flip over, because it doesn't flip instantly. There's a fluid motion to the gravity changing and you turn around. So it's quite skill based, but wicked little game. So I do recommend that. You can find it on Congregate. I'll put the link in the show notes. So PC got some use, which is kind of nice.
Novel.
Yeah, why not? We had a look at a game called Oniken.
Yeah.
Just briefly, which was another little indie game, which was styled after like NES Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, I think it's got more Strider influences.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's got a Strider. The main character looks like he's kind of straight out of Strider, and he has a sword.
Contra sort of.
Yeah, it was a really nice game. Again, worth checking out. It's a demo you can get for free, or you can buy the whole game. It's called Oniken, and it's you're a badass super soldier in the future, fighting robots. The intro's brilliant, Joe. The intro, it has like Ninja Gaiden style cutscenes with like just like the one panel of art and then some text underneath it and stuff. But the intro it does like a reverse Terminator. It shows him stepping on a robot skull and like crushing it down, which is kind of nice. And it's all kind of over the top. But it looks exactly like a NES game. They've stuck to the limitations of the NES palette and the sound and stuff. And it's kind of wicked. It's bastard hard again. But really nice.
Especially the keyboard is insanely hard.
For some reason you struggle so much with keyboards.
Yeah, well, for a start, the keys are reversed to a joypad, so I'm moving with my right hand.
Yeah, but that's just like that's how it's always been.
No, but if you use a keyboard, I've not always been a PC gamer.
And it wasn't WSD didn't work. I don't think they do for that. I think there were other buttons for it when there wasn't. It wasn't a WSD.
I think you can change the keys if you.
Yeah, but it's unusual that they didn't go for that because WSD is what you use, right? But yeah, you struggle with the keyboard, which baffled me. I love playing games.
Spent a lot of time with fire.
I love playing games with the keyboard,
especially if you're playing like an FPS.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only way you've got to do it. But I have no problem with the keyboard. Do you remember? Did anyone play Frets on Fire?
No.
Oh man, Frets on Fire. I'll just tell you a little bit about Frets on Fire quickly. Then this came out ages ago. It's a Guitar Hero clone.
Right.
Okay, for the PC, you can put your own music in it and make your own notes or whatever. But it's exactly like Guitar Hero. So imagine the notes coming down the screen in the same way, on the note highway. Differences with Frets on Fire, you don't need a guitar controller. You use your keyboard. And it's the way it's done is genius. You pick up your keyboard, it won't work with a laptop obviously, but pick up your keyboard, okay? You hold it like you would a guitar with the F keys, F1 to F5 being the buttons that you get on the top of a plastic Rock Band guitar, and the space bar's the toggle. And you could put a strap on your keyboard and it would work, and it's perfect because the F keys were slightly bigger than the other keys, right?
Yeah.
And they're just there, and it's comfortable, and you're just playing Guitar Hero with a keyboard. It's worth it just for that. It's kind of I'd love to literally put a strap on the keyboard.
The idea to sound like a stroke of genius, like someone's just fucking around with a keyboard and go, I'm playing the guitar. It's like, that's a game.
Well, it's kind of a nice way of a small independent developer to try and I don't think it really worked, but try and get in on that $1 million industry that was the music games with the peripherals without having to be able to manufacture a peripheral. It was awesome. It must still be out there. Google Frets on Fire. It's well worth taking a look.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shall we take a quick break and then come back? We're going to listen to a piece of music from the opening to Borderlands 2. Because the opening to Borderlands 2 is freaking awesome.
It is amazing.
Right? Yeah. Which we'll talk about after the break. But here's the title track from it. So this is The Heavy with Short Change Hero. Okay, we're back. Short Change Hero.
I really like that song.
It's alright, it was used in Batman Arkham City trailer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Which is kind of a bit... I find that always a bit odd when they use... when someone else has used a piece of music only very recently after someone else has used it.
Yeah,
Like, you got to try and own it, right?
definitely.
At least that's in the game.
Yeah, not just in a trailer.
Yeah, so Borderlands 2 then we should be talking about, Joe. You've played it a lot.
Yes, over the last few days I've played a lot of Borderlands 2.
I haven't picked it up at all, nor have you, Sean.
No.
So you're going to have to school us on this, but I loved Borderlands 1.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed Borderlands 1 when I went back to it. But this is just awesome, really is. It's so much better than the first one.
Yeah, so it's a similar thing. You're on the same world, Pandora.
Yeah, so it's 5 years after the first one.
You play as 4 different characters.
Yep.
To the original, although the original characters I understand are in the game.
Yes, they are, yeah.
Okay. And it's the same sort of thing, sort of lots of guns, lots of loot.
Yeah, so the game works exactly the same, so it's all about collecting guns and loot. But the story this time around is that after they opened the vault in the first one, this monster came out of some sort. So it was just full of tentacles and something. And it covered the world in iridium, which is like this purple crystal, and that's what everyone's after. So the company Hyperion, which they make weapons in the first one,
Right.
they've come to mine the iridium, and Hyperion's run by Handsome Jack, so your main bad guy in the entire game.
Okay.
And so that's the premise of this: is you're trying to get to the vault before he does, because there's something in the vault that he wants before you get there. So you're trying to get into the vault before he does. So
Right.
that's what this game is based around.
Okay.
I mean, one of my issues with Borderlands 1 is it was felt a bit bare bones. Has this got more plot to it, the single player aspect of it?
Yeah, it does. It does feel like there's a lot more plot. There's a lot more going on as well, because there's a lot more engagement with Handsome Jack than in the first one. You were just sort of randomly running around taking missions, and that was it.
Well, there
really.
was no dialogue in the first one. It was very little dialogue. It was
Yeah,
all
it's all
text. It was
text.
all like text
Yeah.
given to you. And this way, they've kind of replaced all of that with recorded dialogue.
Yeah, there's conversations for everything now.
Yeah, which makes a big difference actually,
Yeah,
because
the-
you're doing that FTL thing before, but you're just skipping
Yeah.
text, and you're not getting absorbed into it. So yeah, I totally feel that Borderlands, as much as we have great memories, or a lot of people have great memories of Borderlands, when it came out wasn't great. The DLC was really, apart from the Moxie DLC, the rest of the DLC was really good for Borderlands, and it's slowly. This is evolution, right?
Yeah.
Not revolution.
No.
And so it looks like they've sorted out a lot of the cool stuff. The gun manufacturers, they've gone crazy with this one, haven't they?
Oh yeah, the guns are just mental in this. There's some amazing guns, and whenever it's on a loading screen, it will just randomly create a gun and it will just rotate there, just for you to
Right,
look at while
okay.
it's loading. And it's just like me and Luke, like my brother was playing. We've had discussions about the guns that have appeared at the loading screen whilst waiting for it to load,
Right.
because it just comes up with some mental guns on there.
Right, and all the manufacturers now are more clear, aren't they? Because there was
Yeah.
different manufacturers in the first game that gave you different guns, but now they're much more segregated. You can instantly tell, okay, this gun is from this manufacturer and does these sort of things.
Yeah.
And there's like a series for each one.
Yeah, so you can tell the difference between the manufacturers. Sort of, they all have different colours and different styles, bits and pieces like that. They have bonus features as well. So there's a company called Tedior or Tedior or something like this. If you reload, right, he doesn't reload a gun. He just throws the gun with whatever ammo's left, and it explodes like a grenade.
Right.
So if you fire it down to empty, he'll just throw the gun away and just create a new one. That's how it
Yeah,
reloads.
that's kind of awesome. And also if you do that with more ammo in it, then it does more damage. Because there's a rocket launcher, isn't there? There's a rocket launcher that the final shot is it fires the rocket launcher at.
Yeah,
whatever. And
I
it's kind of-
actually have that rocket launcher. So
Right.
you're firing off, and then it just fires the rocket launcher off itself.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, it's a great little feature to have in there. Just things like that, just little tweaks that were never in the first.
So what's the craziest gun you've got?
I had a shotgun that fired 3 shells that talked to me when I first used it.
Right, okay,
So
like
like
Roger
Roger
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
No,
Mexicans.
there's this side quest where where there's a Hyperion robot. You take its core and it asks you to put it into different robots. Eventually, it gives up and gives you a choice to either turn it into a shield or a shotgun. I turned it into a shotgun. As soon as you take it out, it goes, "Good choice," and says a few little bits and pieces to you. But I sold it because it wasn't that great.
Okay.
But it was a nice little touch to have in there.
Yeah, that's a
I know
bit
you-
like
I know you're my
Shadows of the
best
Damned.
bud. I know
Yeah.
you're my best bud, but I'm gonna just sell you shit.
Yeah,
The humour in this one is just awesome.
that's another thing
Yeah.
I've heard is that the writing and the humour is bang on, like
Yeah.
Valve quality stuff in there, which is awesome.
Oh, there's some amazing characters in there. There's a girl called Tiny Tina, and she's just amazing.
I was talking to Sean about her the other day because I heard about Tiny Tina. Isn't she like a 13-year-old girl that's like plays with explosives?
Yeah,
but has blown her own arm off, or own legs off, or something.
No, she's still got both her arms and legs. She wears like a psycho mask on the side of her head.
Right.
She's a 13-year-old explosives expert that at one point there's a mission. She creates 2 missiles for you, but they're inside rabbit teddy bears and things like this.
Nice.
It's just mental, and the side quests you do for her are just mad as well. This game just has this amazing sense of humour to it that I just find myself laughing at it every so often. It's like Handsome Jack is one of the funniest characters. At the beginning, he's going on about how you've survived, because in the beginning it shows the train exploding in the beginning trailer.
Yeah.
And he's going on about how you've survived and he wants you dead, and it'd be a great service to him if you could just off yourself right at the beginning of the game, just to save him the effort. And then he goes...
They should give you the option.
Yeah.
You know? They should just be like, yep, game over.
Yeah. He's always talking. At one point he gets a diamond horse, then later on explains that it's not a statue of a horse made of diamonds, it's a horse that is actually diamonds, and calls it Butt Stallion. After you. It's just awesome. The entire game just has this.
Yeah, no, that's good. I must admit I've heard a lot of strong things about the writing and the comedy in particular. What are the characters like? Which character are you playing as?
I'm playing as Axton the Commando, because
Right.
he's very similar to the soldier in the first one, which is the character I played as.
See, we talked about this before, with both of you guys choosing like the generic crap character. I'm not saying he's the crap character, but the soldier, it's like as run of the mill as you can possibly get.
Yeah, I always pick like the backbone. I don't know why. It's just what I do.
But the other characters look pretty cool. There's like Zero, which is it's a bit like this, he's like the cyborg from Metal Gear Solid, I suppose. And
there's Maya, the siren.
The siren. She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the other, the Gunzer.
Salvador. Yeah. And they're also bringing out a new character in a few weeks' time, the Necromancer. I can't remember what her name is.
Okay.
But yeah, the characters are awesome. The customization in there is great. I was expecting sort of minor customization like you had in the first one, where you could just adjust colour. But in this, you can adjust face, outfit, just like the colour and everything.
So those, you purchase them from shops, or they're unlockables?
They're unlockable, so you do side quests, give you them. Your badass rank occasionally unlocks them.
Right.
Your rank unlocks them as well. And if you do special things hidden throughout the world, you get bonus ones. So there's the Minecraft Easter egg in there. If you go in there, kill some of the creepers that are inside, they give you a Minecraft skin and a Minecraft head. Okay. There's a couple of different heads, so there's just a plain block one, and then there's one which is a block face of your character that you choose.
When you say kill creepers, like actual Minecraft creepers?
Yeah, they're actually Minecraft creepers. When you kill them, they explode.
Okay, and do they look like Minecraft creepers?
Yeah.
So they're just like square, blocky...
Yeah.
That's nuts.
They're identical to a creeper in Minecraft, and they have the blocks from Minecraft, and when you hit them with the melee attack, it does the animation where they break until the point that they break, because you have to break through a wall of them to get inside to where the creepers are.
That's crazy. I'm not. I don't know if I'm keen on Minecraft stuff popping up everywhere. It feels like you really can't get rid of it. Feels like Minecraft hit big, like well over a year ago, and yet only now we're starting to see Minecraft stuff pop up everywhere, like this mini resurgence thing. I suppose it's because of the XBLA release, but I'm sick of seeing it. I'm done with Minecraft now. I don't need any more things to reference it. There's quite a lot of game references in Borderlands too. It's like Demon Souls one I saw online, and some other bits and pieces. But
there's a nice Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one in there as well.
Nice. How? What? Tell us.
Moxie gives you a mission to deliver a pizza down into the sewers of like a camp of bad guys.
Right.
And when you get down there, you get attacked by 4 guys. Because the whole point is to draw them out and kill them. One's called like Dan, one's called something else, and they're all mutants that run around with swords. And so you've got to fight off and kill all of them. And there's a thing you can do later on, which is activating switches to change the colour of 5 red lights to green. And if you turn them all green, Flinter appears and attacks you. So it was quite amusing to do these little bits and pieces. And
yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, it sounds great. Have you tried any of the co-op stuff?
Yeah, so I played the majority of what I've played is co-op.
Right, okay.
I did play a few hours on my own, and then I started playing with someone else, and I've been playing the most of it now with my brother.
Yeah.
And it just works. It's seamless, really. You select a game you want to join, it just puts you in there. You choose your character, press play, and it just loads you up. There's no real hassle in there. You just, as soon as you want to leave, you just leave. Doesn't affect the other person's game at all.
Have they still got kind of the jewels and stuff in there?
There's no jewels in there, But you can like trade with the other person now. Instead of chucking stuff on the floor, you can actually activate trades, give money, those things.
Okay.
You do know I meant jewels.
Yeah, I said jewels, as in, you hit
I
your
didn't
other
know if you
person.
meant
Yeah.
jewels.
No.
Like shiny.
I know
gold
you meant
things.
jewels.
No, actually, that's a valid point, actually, because that's one of the things that's kind of annoying in these games. Of like, it doesn't make any sense of if I want to give you something, why I throw it on the floor. It's just like the rudest thing in the world. Like, yeah, I've got like Minecraft, you do it, don't you? Like, I've got this axe for you, and it's like I just chucked it on the floor. So I don't chuck it on the floor, just give it to me.
Yeah, it's a better system having a trade system in there. So if someone wants to give you something, you can return by giving them the amount of money that it would sell for.
Yeah.
So there's only co-op. There's no versus at all.
No, there's no verses in there. No.
Oh, strange.
Yeah,
It wasn't a big part of the first one, though. You could just initiate those battles, which were.
Yeah, but they were kind of fun.
I guess, but they were kind of the thing you did when you weren't playing properly. Where you just sort of like, one of you's fucking around. Like, I'm just gonna fight you for no reason because you don't get. There's no benefits.
No.
But yeah, all right. What about the world? Because it's obviously being on Pandora again. Is it like? Does it all look kind of? I know they start in a snow world, don't they? Now
Yeah,
kind of go like this is the same place, but this looks as visually different as it possibly could from the first game.
Yeah, the first one just had that problem where it was just all brown, maybe.
Yeah.
There was no difference. In this, like you said, you start in a snow world. There is a bit of a desert section, which is the second part you get to, but now I'm in the Highlands, which is all green, things like this.
Okay.
There's a lot more variation in the environment you're playing now.
You happy with Claptrap?
Claptrap's, yeah, he's alright. He does an awesome little thing, because there's a main town called Sanctuary, which is where the rebellion operates out of, which is who you're joined with.
Right.
Which is how you meet the characters from the first one. And he's just randomly going around, and every so often you'll just hear wob, 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 wob. And you'll turn around and there's Claptrap just dancing away, just saying, I've made a new dubstep song. He's just dancing away, just going wob, wob, wob.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, it's little things like that, just really amusing.
Dubstep, music of the future.
Yeah, apparently so.
Borderlands, Total Recall. They both tell you that's the case. What if we were talking about this, just in a slight diversion. What if the future is exactly how we imagined it to be 25 years ago? What if the future that we're heading towards is neon signs spewing out audio into city streets, raining all the time,
Flying cars.
Asian women everywhere,
Overpopulated.
Yeah, like it's horrible. The future's always bad. That can't be. But imagine if the future doesn't advance in any way; it just goes to what was advanced back then. That would kind of suck. Dubstep, obviously, as well.
Yeah, the only future I would like to see the planet going towards is the Star Trek future, where everyone rejoices, the world becomes friendly with each other, and there's no need for money.
They did go through like several serious fucking wars before they get to that point.
I know, but if it reached that point, that's how the Earth should be.
I'm pretty sure one was nuclear. One of those wars was nuclear.
Probably.
That's they're not on Earth, are they? In Star Trek for very much? I don't know.
Well, the Federation's based out of Earth initially.
So Borderlands, you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
You've played a lot of it so far.
I've played about 20 hours in the last sort of
Do you know
4
any
days.
idea sort of like how far through it you are?
At this point, I'd probably say 2/3 maybe,
Okay.
but I'm not 100% sure because I'm doing every side quest I can get my hands on, so I'm just being diverted a lot. But
Yeah.
at the point where the story seems to be, it feels like that's roughly where I would be in the story.
So have they got a season pass for this? Is there, like, obviously they're going to do DLC for it. Is there any sort of season pass available now?
Yeah, they have got a
stuff
season
cheaper?
pass for this, yeah. So I'm assuming they've got loads of DLC lined up, so they do have a season pass, so you can buy that. And
Yeah,
just-
I would imagine there'll be quite a bit. I mean, Borderlands was never supposed to have as much DLC as it did. That was
Right.
not planned. They
It was
just kind
just
of
its
added to it. Yeah,
popularity.
exactly. So I can imagine Gearbox doing a similar thing with Borderlands too. It's certainly, it's a big game. I really want to play it. I really desperately want to pick it up.
I am more interested in getting my hands on it than I was, certainly.
In co-op, it's just that's the only way to do it.
It's just so good now. Even if you didn't really like the first one, this is so different that it's just really good.
Yeah, and I know it's got it really compels you to play on. The loot in it does just really got to me. It was just like playing it. Nailed everything that World of Warcraft nailed. Just in a game that I was more likely to play, and I was just like, oh yeah, this is cool. So as long as that's sort of streamlined a bit, so I'm not. The problem with Borderlands 1 was I was collecting so many guns, not knowing what each one did, and I ended up having like 5 on a go, and I was like, well, I don't really want to get rid of this one. I'm not sure, and is this better than this and stuff? And
This
that can all
one's
be
pretty.
yeah.
Yeah, the menus are a lot easier in this one to understand stats and things like that, and compare weapons and understand what is where.
Has it still got the cool the die mechanic, the second wind stuff?
Yeah, the second wind stuff's still in there. So if you drop down, you kill an enemy, it'll bring you back up. You can also be revived by other people in your game.
Yeah.
And they've got the respawn beacons as well in there.
Okay. What about vehicles? Vehicles were terrible in the first one. Were there any vehicles in this one?
Yeah, the vehicles in this one. So there's the same ones you had in the first one, the machine gun and rocket.
They look bad though. They were bad-looking vehicles that weren't exciting.
So you can paint them pink now.
Yeah, I could paint them pink in the first one. I wasn't happy with that either. I want Halo's Warthog.
You can unlock more vehicles. So
Okay.
there is a mission where you unlock like bandit ones, which instead of having like a rocket launcher, it fires explosive barrels.
Nice.
And they look a lot meaner and a lot cooler than the first ones, but the vehicles control the same.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't have an issue with that. It was kind of Halo controls anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like you point in the direction you want to go rather than directly control the axles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I will check this out.
Yeah,
I'll come and ruin your game, Joe.
Yeah, I don't think you could ruin my game.
What level are you at the moment?
20.
20. Okay.
You got some catching up to do.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So right, when you start, I'll just jump into your game and just decimate everything.
I like it. What's the deal with the loot situation? Is it shared loot between parties when you're playing with someone else?
Money's shared. Well, It's
Right.
not shared. If someone picks up money, you both get the same amount. Iridium is shared.
Right.
And weapons, you just have to work out between the two of you.
Okay.
But I didn't speak about Iridium. But Iridium is a new type of currency they've got in there now. And what you use Iridium for is buying upgrades for your character. So in the first one, you had to buy upgrades for your ammo capacity. You had to pay for it with money. Now, instead, there's a black market shop that only takes Iridium, and you use that to upgrade your ammo count and your backpack. And you get Iridium from completing missions. You can also gamble in Mox's bar. You can use fruit machines in there to get Iridium as well.
Okay.
Iridium, man. It's the future.
Yeah, purple crystals.
Unobtainium.
Yeah.
I hate unobtainium.
Mithril. Just a generic other current scrap. But yeah, all right, that's cool. No, it sounds good. We'll check it out, and I imagine this will be a game that we'll be coming back to in the future anyway as we go further through it. But yeah, that's kind of awesome. Let's move on then. Let's talk about Jet Set Radio, Sean, because you've been playing this in XBLA.
Yes.
It's you were excited for this game.
I was. Yeah, I had very fond memories of Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, nostalgia. See, nothing fucks with nostalgia.
Other than playing Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, it's not very good.
No, it's not.
This is what I tried to tell you. It's not very good. It's
I remember it being kind of like brightly coloured, great music, skating around, doing graffiti, fighting cops.
Yeah, well, all that's still there.
Yeah, it's just with really shoddy controls.
Yeah, well, so you got
Which
to remember,
it always had. It always had
exactly.
shoddy controls.
You got to remember, Jet Set Radio is a Dreamcast game, right?
Yeah.
There was a sequel, there's Jet Set Radio Future for the Xbox.
Yeah.
Which is largely considered to not really be a better game. It's not held in high esteem, but it plays better. You can play it. It's fine.
Probably.
Because the biggest thing with Dreamcast Jet Set Radio is you got one analog stick.
Yeah.
So there's no camera control in the Dreamcast version because there was no second stick. All you could do was center the camera back on your character.
With a trigger.
So in this version, you have now got free camera control.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's just broken. You end up looking at floors and walls and ceilings and never at the back of your character. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, nice.
But I mean, yeah, the control system was bad to begin with on Dreamcast. I'm talking about how accurate the character is unless you put in a crazy amount of time on this game. I think he's always going to be a bit janky, really.
Right.
So you kind of crash into rails instead of jumping, landing on them. You kind of overshoot rails quite a lot, and it's irritating.
Well, the Jet Set Radio did a lot of things back in the day that were kind of impressive. The
Yeah.
grinding on rails
Yeah.
was kind of, we hadn't seen that and stuff before. It was good. The kind of natural way that it kind of locks onto it and goes around was cool. The tagging was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The little like weird tagging mini game, which was taken out of Jet Set Radio Future.
Yeah.
And yeah, style wise, it was all right. It was very Sega.
Yeah, I mean, it was it? I might be talking out my arse here, but wasn't it kind of one of the first big cell shaded games?
Yeah.
And I mean, graphically, it looks real sharp on HD TV. It looks swish, but yeah, the controls are unforgivable. I mean, if you want to progress in this game, you need to pump in the hours, and you'll get most of the time you'll run out of time. So it's kind of like 700 seconds per level.
So what are you doing? Tell us, set us up for what you're doing. If I've never played Jet Set Radio.
Okay,
give me a snapshot.
You initially start as this little punk kid who goes around grinding on stuff and spraying stuff. Before you can even start the game, it has a driving license section.
Yeah.
Where you need to perform stunts that 2 characters give to you to get them to join you, to prove that you're a good enough skater for them to join you.
I always remember those being really hard in the Dreamcast version.
Yeah, and I think obviously because obviously when you're playing the Dreamcast version, it's the first time you're playing the game, and the controls aren't great, and then you've got to do, and some of them that they give you right at the beginning are long more than anything. And it's all it takes is you to come off a rail when you're not meant to, and land on the floor, and then you got to do it again, and then you got to do it again, and you got to do it again. Fortunately, on the Xbox, I got through it pretty quickly because I knew what I was doing. Obviously, I'd done it before on Dreamcast. But anything with that, with the driving license system that you get in Gran Turismo, I just fucking hate instantly. It's like I've just paid for this game. Let me play it at my own leisure. Don't force me to like prove that I can play this game. I guess it's the equivalent to a tutorial. But when are you forced to do a tutorial?
Well, sadly, more often than we'd like, you know. But
yes, but it's a bit more subtle. It's not kind of like as blatant as this is, if you know what I'm saying. Once you get your crew, you can choose between any of the 3 of them, and then you're just unleashed onto the town. You need to hit all of the red markers. So you'll see little red arrows on buses, on cars, on walls. You need to fill those with pieces that represent your gang to then unlock and progress to the next area. You're given a time limit of 700 minutes, or 700 minutes, ages, 700 seconds per stage. And as you fill out the tags, more and more police are filed into the area to hinder you in your progression.
Okay. And so you're basically just tagging the city to like mark areas, I guess. And
as your gang's territory,
Yeah, and the police are after you because that's wrong.
Yeah. Though their methods are maybe a little extreme. The chief of police himself is there, running around with like a magnum, shooting at you. They get riot police in to hell tear gas at you at some point. They bring in Hind D, who kind of got Russian gunship helicopters firing missiles at you and stuff. So it's maybe a little extreme on the graffiti front, but it's okay. 800 points.
Yeah, it's a good price. I mean, Sega got this. This came out this way. Knight's coming out in a couple of weeks' time.
Again, I'm looking forward to Knight's.
Again, you're going to be disappointed, but
no doubt.
Yeah, Jet Set Radio is all right. It's a very stylish game. That's it's style over everything. It's got hasn't got like a pirate radio station in it.
Yeah,
run by like some Rasta dude.
Yeah.
And it's that's what it is. It's a tricking game where you're going around, you're negotiating like a 3D world on roller skates to tag things, and you know can you still make, because that was the thing about Jet Set Radio, you could make your own tags, right? But couldn't you also take pictures in the original Dreamcast version, or something to do with you could upload files to put into? There was something freer where you could put anything into your tags,
right?
And I don't think you can do that now in the Xbox version. I think it's just like layered, like almost like Forza designing stuff. Because you could share stuff on the Dreamcast version. Right. It's kind of what was weird about it. I never thought this game was as good as everyone said it was. It looks nice, but it's just it was never that much fun.
I thought it was fun before I went back to it. Now that I've gone back to it, I remember, actually this game's fucking frustrating.
It's sure. And is that suffers from that same thing of any game that had a single analog stick? You know, it's mad to think that we ever played games with just one analog stick.
It's Nintendo. It's really kicked off the trend, weren't it?
Well,
but Mario handled it well, and he didn't really have one analog. It was kind of a trick that it was like, we've only got one analog.
Nintendo's
stick,
were the first ones to try and sort of get around it. I mean, we had single analog sticks way before then. The bloody Vectrex has got one. But,
sure.
We just didn't think to have that second one. It was first person shooters that really sort of born it out there, you know, because that was when you got
Sony kind of brought it in the dual analog, didn't they, with the PS1?
But I guess the control method that comes from it comes from mouse and keyboard style FPS, where you are looking independently to what you're controlling.
Yeah.
And so it's weird when you go back and you play things, and play GoldenEye now on an N64. It's
so
practically
difficult.
impossible. Yeah, it's impossible. You just can't do it. It's like, how do I? It doesn't make any sense.
It's like mind-boggling. It's just like, how do I do that, but also pull that button as well to fire?
Well, GoldenEye's even the other way around, isn't it? Because your movement is on the yellow buttons on the thing, and then you look around with the central stick, so you're holding it completely different. It's just it's weird. So yeah, that was never going to fly properly for me. It's a shame because Jet Set Radio, there's a lot of people who love it.
Yeah.
I never really played Future. I had it. It was one of those games that I got free. I think it was one of the games that Microsoft maybe even sent out after their reduction in the Xbox price.
Okay.
That and Metropolis Street Racer.
Yeah, I got that and
it's Project Gotham, I guess.
Sega GT in a dual box together.
I think I got Future when I brought my Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely one of those games around then, and it was very similar, but yeah, slightly different. Took out the tagging mini game, and is generally not thought of as nicely. But yeah, that's a shame. But I didn't expect this to be any good. It's that simple, really. Another game that I didn't expect to be any good, but I gave a chance on XBLA this week, was Fire Pro Wrestling.
Right.
Fire Pro Wrestling, which is an old wrestling series, much loved Japanese wrestling series, from back in the day before you, Joe. BJ before Joe. And they've just taken the name, really, and slapped it on an avatar wrestling game. So you use your avatar and you wrestle. 3D wrestling game.
Right.
What I did quite like about it was the way they make the wrestlers. Like, you literally play with your character, but the wrestlers you fight throughout the game are like normal avatars in like fat suits.
Okay.
And got like jumpers with muscles on and stuff, and you can see it. So, you know, a tiny thing, but it was at least, you know, I was like, oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there, right? This game is the worst game I've ever played on XBLA. Period. I'm not exaggerating. It is the worst game I have ever played on Xbox Live Arcade. It is comparable, and in some cases worse than the floods of Xbox Live indie games that use avatars.
Yeah.
It is so fucking janky. Like, the animation's dreadful.
Right.
And you think, like, it's hard with avatars for people to get it right. Most of the time that stuff falls short, right? But Doritos Crash Course, the free game that came out a couple of years back, uses the avatars really well. The animations are slick in it, the little celebration animations and the way they're moving around. That's awesome. I love that game, actually. I think that's kind of brilliant. This is not as good as that. Like, nowhere near as good as that. And it's just so bad. It's like a bad wrestling game anyway, because the guys can't do much to each other because they're avatars, so you're limited to what they can do. The animation is dreadful. It's like two buttons. It's constantly going, why don't you just pin him? Just pin him. Just fucking pin him. And so I was then, I started playing, and I was thinking, this game is awful. I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm gonna get involved with this. But I thought maybe it's got really cool editable entrances, right? Because that's the bit I like in wrestling games. I like being able to make my entrance. You know, put some pyrotechnics here, and some cool music here, and some lights here and stuff. I was thinking, well, this would be quite cool, and it's my avatar as well. So the freedom of that is quite. You know, I've got a lot of options. I can have Master Chief walking down there.
Sure.
And the entrances are bloody awful. I just like playing something on PlayStation 1.
Right.
You know, just like, oh man, this game looks terrible, although it does. It just looks like it was developed a long time ago. It's like if you went back 10 years in time, but took an Xbox 360 development kit and someone who was like reasonably able to explain it to people, and just went, yeah, make a wrestling game with these avatars. This is what they'd make. It's awful. Awful game. I don't recommend it at all. Sneaky Friday release.
Maybe it had to be that way.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just so people missed it.
Yeah. I do not recommend that in the slightest. And also, if you're a fan of Fire Pro Wrestling, just don't touch it because it will make you cry.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Let's move on then and talk about a couple of other games that we've got on a slightly different systems now. I went back and found Game Dev Story. Do you remember Game Dev Story? Has anyone here played Game Dev Story?
I have now.
You have now. You haven't, no, Joe, have you?
Nope.
Game Dev Story on the iPhone. This game is just mind-blowingly good. It's made by Kairosoft, and it's like a strategy time management game where you are running a game dev studio, making games, and putting them out, selling them.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's the attention to detail in it that makes it brilliant. It doesn't look particularly great. It's all just sort of like pixel art. You know, you get to see a little cross-section of a building, and there's a bunch of dudes typing away on keyboards and, you know, on PCs, and they're making a game. But you get to choose everything. It's brilliant. What I like about it is the humour it has in it, or the slight parody it has in it of all the game systems as they come out.
Yeah.
Because you start off and you're developing for, like, a Microlux and stuff like this, and it replicates all of the games consoles we've seen throughout history, from sort of like Atari days right up to now to 360 and PS3. But it gives them sort of parody names, it follows the same rules that they have done in real life. So the PS3 is very successful, does very well, costs a lot to develop for. Atari Jaguar, or the Virtual Boy equivalents that are in the game, obviously didn't do very well. You don't want to make games for those. And so the way the game sets up is you start up your game dev company, you name it whatever you want, which is kind of cool. And then you take contracts from developers to make stuff, to initially make some money. So they'll be like, we need you to port a game to this system, or we need you to do some sound work for this game, or some CGI.
Character design.
Or character design,
sound effects, or special effects for cartoons and stuff like that.
And you'll do those, and you'll earn some money, and that'll give you some capital. Once you've got a decent amount of capital you can then buy a license to develop for an actual console. And the license costs normally quite a bit of money.
I think the Senge, what is it, Exodus?
Yeah, the Sega Exodus.
The Sega Mega Drive, the Genesis, is kind of like around 180k, I think, to develop for.
Which is a lot of money in the game. It takes you a little while to sort of get that. So you have to pay this one-off fee, this license fee, to then get given a dev kit, and then you can start working on these games. Then you have to choose what game you're going to make, and you unlock throughout the game by training your staff and exploring other areas. You unlock new genres of game that you can make. So you choose two types. You choose a type of games. You might choose an action game, and then you choose a genre, and it might be, I don't know, spy. So you're making an action spy game. Then it will cost you a certain amount of money. Each one of those genres and types has a cost attributed to it, and a popularity level, so you can see roughly whether people are going to like it. And then once you've paid all that, you then start developing your game. The way the development is handled is that it's split into 4 segments: fun, creativity, sound, and graphics. And you just time goes by, the little guys are working on it, and little numbers are going up. As they're working, you're getting like 1 on graphics, 2 on graphics, 4 on sound.
And occasionally they're kind of like, he's on fire, and they'll just type away, and you get like 6 on graphics. Yeah,
you'll get little bonuses. Especially if your characters aren't tired, which is another thing that you have to keep them charged.
Deadpool.
Deadpool, is the energy drink that they use.
Which costs you like 50 grand. You have to like buy cases of it.
Yeah. So you're making your game, and then periodically through your game, it stops and says, right now we're in alpha. We've got to start working at the. You choose a member of staff first of all to write the basic pitch.
Yeah,
and
scenarios.
The characters all have different roles. So you get a designer, you get a producer, you get a director, you get a sound engineer, you can get hackers, you can get hardware engineers, you can get all sorts. So you choose the right person with their own specific stats to write that game, then, and they go, oh, cool, yeah, I can figure this out, and they give you a burst which starts you off. They might give you 20 graphics and 10 sound or whatever. Then they carry on beavering away. Then at beta time, it's time to do the sound. You pick the person to do the sound, and you pick the person to do character design, and through that until you finish the game. Then there's the bug testing stage where you have to get rid of the bugs in the game. You can at this point just ship a game with bugs in it. But you get rid of all those, and then you release the game. All the time that this is happening, the year is passing by. And it's passing by quite quickly. So actually, when you release a game, does affect how successful it will be. If you release it around the holiday season, it will do better. But also other events are happening. So magazines will write articles about the games or about your studio if it's set up or hired someone or it's got a particularly good game that people are looking forward to. You can also do advertising, be it on television or on online or in magazines and stuff, and that'll increase the amount of fans you have, which will make your game again more successful.
Enough, the top grade piece of advertising is a marching band.
Oh, it is at the moment for you. I'm doing lunar writing.
Okay, excellent.
Okay. So yeah, the game is pretty crazy. And then your game's made and you ship it, and then you watch it sell. You watch the money come in and you watch the amount of
sales,
units it's selling. Yeah, and it will go. Then what will happen is it will go into the charts. It'll tell you where it went into the charts. It'll go, yeah, your game came in at number 6, and you'll get 4 reviews from reviewers giving you an out of 10 review. If you get a high enough review, your game will go into the Hall of Fame. If you can make a Hall of Fame game, you can then later make a sequel to that game. Okay, and those do really well. But if your sequel to the game doesn't make it to Hall of Fame, you can no longer make sequels. And you get to name your game, and it's all kind of fun, and it's awesome. It's so addictive because you're like, I'm just pumping out brilliant games. The best games I made, the Farcraft series. Farcraft 1 did really well, Hall of Fame, 10 out of 10s. Farcraft 2, brilliant. Then I moved it into the online MMO space with Farcrafters. Really cool. Game Boy got a Farcrafter X. And all that sort of is fun. You go to Game Decks, which is like E3, where you decide what your booth's going to be like. Are you going to have booth babes or a mascot or no one there or whatever? That costs you money, and fans come and visit you. It's so in depth that it's freaking great. And then eventually, after like 20 years have passed, you've gone through all these different console manufacturers, and you choose who you're going to develop for. You don't just develop for the new one each time. Sometimes you don't want to. You can eventually get a hardware engineer, and you can make your own console. So I've just made my own console, and then you can just develop for that constantly. But it's so good. It's so addictive. It's like £2.50 or something on iOS. There is actually a PC version, but it's exclusively in Japanese. There was also a Game Dev Story 2 that came out in 2010, I think. Again for the PC, that is in Japanese, although there is a fan
version,
English version, a translation of it, which I'm trying to get hold of. Because these games are brilliant. They've since done loads of other iOS stuff, like they did Hot Springs Simulator, which is like a hotel spa type simulator. There's a Grand Prix one and stuff like that, and they're all kind of the same.
Right.
But Game Dev Studio, obviously you're listening to this show, and we're all here because we love games and we love the development side of it. This is brilliant. It just taps into it beautifully. And then lots of little nods and winks to everything. You can have power failures in the middle of development, and you'll lose a load of work.
Right. You
can have another company develop a game that's very similar to yours,
right.
and that will reduce sales. You can make too many of the same game.
Yeah.
If you make Farcraft every year, it becomes a yearly franchise. People aren't interested anymore. And all of that is really it's awesome. So I thoroughly recommend it. I only remembered I had it because I hadn't played it in about a year, and then realised I had it on my iPad. There is only an iPhone version, so it's not an iPad native version. But then just thought, I'll just have a look at that again, and then oh my god, like 12 hours gone. It is a brilliant game that I thoroughly recommend. If you've got an iPhone, it's on Android as well. It's well worth picking up. Do it, Joe.
I will do.
Do it. City Tuesday.
Yep.
Sean, you had a brief go on City Tuesday,
I
the
did.
Xbox Live indie game, the Indie Games Uprising game. This was the one we were looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
Right. This is the. What is it? It's a bomb's going to go off in a city, a terrorist attack in a city, and you relive the last 5 minutes before the bombs go off over and over again.
Yeah, it's kind of source code.
Yeah, kind of Groundhog Day.
Bit both.
Yeah, Groundhog Code.
With stickmen.
Yes. Yeah, the whole thing kind of looks like sort of emergency signs, like warning signs, I guess.
Yeah.
Or old school book. It's got an old school sort of book, penguin book feel to it as well. It looks really nice.
It does. It's a beautiful looking game, and the music's really good in it as well.
Yeah, it's very, very, very well presented. So yeah, tell us about it. What's it like? I haven't really played this game. I had a brief bash, but it from what I was looking forward to it to be, it doesn't seem to be quite that.
No, what I was expecting was a roguelike game. So if you failed to get a bomb, you then reset and you have to obviously, as you get bombs, you figure out the puzzles. So you're interacting with people and scenery to solve the puzzle of that specific area that you're in. So every room is broken down. So you've got one room. Then once you solve the puzzle in that room, you move on to the next room. And they're in various different places. They're in tube stations or they're in museums. And you kind of rattle stuff, basically. You can see a bomb in something. You then rattle that thing over and over again by tapping X to get the bomb to come out of it. You pick it up. Your time is extended. You move on to the next room. I was expecting it to be... So if a bomb goes off, the whole thing's reset. And then you have to work through. And every time you pick up a bomb, you add time. And you know what to do with the next puzzle.
So what does happen if a bomb goes off?
It just resets the day. You start back in that room. All the bombs that you've already collected are safe and done and dusted.
So how are you getting the bombs? Are you sort of like distracting people and working the environment around it? What are the puzzles like?
They vary quite dramatically. Some of them are relatively simple. It's literally, as you start off, there's a bomb in a bin. You rattle the bin, the bomb comes out, job done. Other ones, there's like weird ones with the rat. So there's a rat who's guarding a bomb inside his home, and there's a guy eating a burger in a tube station cafe, and he gets indigestion. So you have to get a drink from the lady at the counter and get it into his hand before he finishes his burger. So you need 4 pieces of burger, but if you don't get the drink to the gentleman in time, he will eat the entire burger and then get indigestion. So you only get 3 pieces of burger because there's a bit of burger in a bin upstairs. The lady brings out a whole burger for you, and you need his other half the burger to feed to the rat, and then the rat gives you the bomb.
Does the rat give you the bomb, or does the rat just get out of the way?
The rat gives you the bomb.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. So, yes, there's a lot of distracting stuff. There was another one where you had to get coins out of things in order to...
Yeah,
you had to distract a crowd. So you had to give a busker some money so that he would play and the crowd would, like, be...
Basically, the crazy bomber won't plant the bomb while there's people watching.
Yeah.
So you need to distract the crowd for him to then place the bomb so you can retrieve it.
Yeah.
So there's a large group of people upstairs. There's 2 buskers, one at each end of the platforms. There's a guy that goes downstairs to make a phone call, so you need to rattle the phone to get the money out. But what I discovered is that there's a child who's running up and down, and if you don't get to the phone in time, because I thought, what I'll do is I'll just let the money accumulate both in the phone and in the vending machine where somebody else uses the vending machine, and then pick up the money kind of straight after each other. But if you don't get there in time, there's a child who walks up and down on the bottom platform, and he takes the money instead. And if you interact with him, he tells you how much he's collected out of the machines.
So the bulk of the game really is you're watching and learning people's paths and seeing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then having to react on that. But like you said, there is a time you can't just wait.
No,
you've got to go and do it before something else happens.
You have
it's
to
about
kind of
seeing
find the timing.
seeing the best point to interact and intervene, I guess, to make this happen. Which is why it restarts over and over again.
Yeah.
So it kind of almost wants you to fail
a
couple of times and then go, all right, now this is how I want to do it. That's kind of cool. It's a cool idea.
Yeah,
that totally is Groundhog Day and source code to a T, right?
So
it's like do this day right.
You can just press start button and go down to reset day. So if for example the child gets the money before you get to it, that's it. You just reset the day rather than wait kind of like 5 minutes for the bomb to go off. But you also have, if you hold the right trigger, it also speeds up time, so you can get the day to the point that you need it to be without having to sit around for 2 minutes waiting for...
Is there any explanation as to like why this is happening to you? Why you're sort of dislodged from time and able to fast forward it and reset? You know, I guess it doesn't need it for what it is, but it's kind of weird. It's just like you're just the dude in the red coat that's kind of free from time. It's cool. It's a really nice looking game. Yeah, really, really nice looking. I've heard it's not that big.
No, I can see it might be quite short.
Yeah, it seems a bit more of like almost a proof of concept than anything else. But yeah, definitely very slick and a nice little novel idea.
If anything, I'd say check out the demo at least. It's worth a look. Even if you're just there for the aesthetics, because it's a beautiful looking game.
Yeah, and 80 points. Yeah, again. Yeah,
it's
so you can't really go wrong there. Yeah, City Tuesday. I'm inclined to give it a look.
Yeah, I mean, I'll finish it off at some point.
I have got it downloaded and waiting. I just haven't got around to playing it yet.
Do it, Joe.
For shame.
There's no good keeping those games locked in a box. Yeah, get on that shizzle. All right, well, look, let's talk about some news that's happened, because there has been a few little bits in the last 7 days. Sony at the Tokyo Game Show announced a new PS3. New PS3 that we'd already known about, because Sony can't keep a secret for love nor money. But the PS3 Slim. The Slim Shady Edition. I say shady because it's damned expensive.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, we're all hoping like, this is going to be cheap as chips and they'll clean up like a $99 console, £99 console. Clean up at Christmas. You know, and although there is an interesting story here, because it's not $99, it's about $185. Well, it's two prices, because there's the 4 gig. Is it a 4 gig?
I thought it was a 16.
No, it might be a 16, yeah. So I thought it was 12 or 16. I think it's a 16 gig and then a 250 gig version as well.
500.
500. I'm really good with my numbers today. I'll tell you why I got that wrong. So there's a 16 gig version and a 500 gig version. The 500 gig version is £250. That's where I was getting that number from. Quite expensive.
Yeah.
You know, it's the most expensive console I believe you could probably buy at the moment. And then there's the 16 gig, which is £185, give or take. Yeah. Again, that ain't cheap.
No.
That is not cheap.
It certainly seems like a missed opportunity on Sony's part.
Well, you say that, but then this is where the other side of the story comes from. Is Sony have not set a recommended retail price for this device.
Retailers
They've
have
totally put it on. There isn't one. You charge what you want for it. So retailers are in complete control of it. So you might find that Morrison's all of a sudden start selling one for $129 or something because they can. And to be honest, if you're a supermarket, it's totally what you do, right? Because no one's coming there to buy consoles from you. So you go, yeah, we'll just slash it. But yeah, it's it's expensive. It's really expensive for what is one of the ugliest looking PS3s. And let's face it, they're not from a very good looking family anyway.
No.
But this is one of the ugliest looking things in the world. It has a stand. It has like a PS2 style stand again to stand it up on
really?
vertically. But it's top loader. So, you forcibly force this plastic cheap cover to go along, and then you can get into the disc drive.
See, that doesn't scream like I'm £300 worth of gaming equipment.
No, none of it does.
That sounds like I'm £100 worth of
It all looks very cheap plastic. I remember the original PS3 Slim is quite nice. It's not a bad looking machine. It's kind of weird, but it's not ugly. This is just horrendously ugly.
Right.
What I'm curious about though, with the top loading open at any point thing, are we going to see any sort of crazy mods or cheats for it? Remember the Dreamcast or even the PS1 where you would swap discs at the right time in order to get past certain region lockouts or whatever else?
Yeah.
Does this open it up for that? I don't know.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah, just just test it out, guys. But yeah, the PS3 Slim. It's not called the Slim. I don't know what it's called. I think it's just called PS3. Or PS3 Slim.
I think we should.
they've done
We should kick it off being called PS3 Slim.
I think they've done an iPad 3 on it, and the new iPad type thing. So so that's out there. It's coming for Christmas. Whereas previously I was thinking maybe this would dominate at Christmas, I'm now convinced it definitely won't.
Yeah.
It's more expensive than a Wii U, so that seems like a silly thing to do already, doesn't it? The new hotness is cheaper. I don't know. There you go. Moving on from that, Cabin in the Woods movie, Joss Whedon produced and written.
Yes.
Right, horror film. You've seen it, Joe.
I have indeed, yes.
Did you like this film?
I don't know. I really don't know if I enjoyed it or not.
Okay, that wasn't really the response I was looking for. I was looking for, I loved it.
It was just mental.
It's gone down really well. I've not seen it, but I heard it's very good, and obviously it's Joss Whedon, so everyone's sort of, at the moment, everyone's ears prick up when they hear Joss Whedon's name, right? And they're like, oh, right. The only reason I bring it up is because it came out last week that Valve were working on a Left 4 Dead campaign for Cabin in the Woods, which is kind of weird. It didn't happen, ultimately, as we know, otherwise we'd have played it, but it didn't happen because MGM went under, and that delayed things, and it all kind of just fell apart. The deal fell apart. But the other thing that came from this is that there's actually Left 4 Dead characters in Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. There's like a witch and a boomer. I don't know if there's any other bits in there. And we can't really talk about when or where it happens because that would be kind of spoilerific for the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of cool. It's clearly a boomer. We watched bits of it today. There's the clip.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
There was a boomer. I even think before the bit where you see a boomer, I think I heard that sort of boomer noise, right. That sort of sloshing of vomit in your gut sort of noise before it. So, yeah. Did you see the boomer when you watched it, Joe?
I didn't first time around, no.
Why?
Because there's a lot going on at that point.
It is hard to spot, and the movie does look like it's insane. But yeah, I'd be keen to check this out. It's got Thor in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got Thor in there. It's got a lot of other Joss Whedon.
Not Thor.
Yeah, it's got Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a lot of other characters that it uses regularly. So it's got Topher from Dollhouse. It's got Amy Acker, who's in a lot of other bits and pieces.
Dollhouse
she's in
and Angel.
Yeah, she's in some other stuff as well with him. I think those are the only two that are in there, but he does have a tendency to use a lot of the same people.
Not quite as bad as Tim Burton.
Well, Tim Burton just uses two people.
Yeah. Tim Burton. So interesting thing about Tim Burton. This isn't an interesting thing about Tim Burton. But I was watching a lot of the Ricky Gervais Golden Globe stuff, all of his opening speeches and things, where he just slated everyone for the last 3 Golden Globe awards.
Yeah.
And I just thought one of the best things. This isn't really that funny, but one of the best things when he introduced Johnny Depp, he went, "The man who will wear anything Tim Burton tells him to." Johnny Depp. And it's like, yep, that's kind of right. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, do you remember a while back there was a website launched called datagamer.com? I think we talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
And then the slightly naughtier version called Shagger Gamer, which was a social network for gamers to meet up with people who they want to have sex with. And it was really upfront about it. Like, yeah, it's just about fucking.
Yeah, it's a bit crass.
It was just horrible, just really bad. And it just paints the real wrong view of gamers and everything in general. Well, they've... in fact, Joe went on it, didn't you? You did. You went on the website.
Yeah, just out of interest to see what it was.
Out of interest. What is this?
You've admitted it now. You can never go back.
What on earth could Shag a Gamer be?
I didn't go on Shag Gamer, I went on Data Gamer.
Okay, all right. But anyway, they released a couple of videos last week. These are hilarious. These are top tips for gamers in order to meet women. So I guess the top tips for us, for male gamers, right? There's 3 videos. First one was just general tips on how to get a girl gamer, single girl gamer, I think it mentions. Second video was what to do on your first date. So you're doing well. Third video was how to impress a single girl gamer on your first date into sleeping with you, right? And it's like, really? Like, no way. I've got the video here lined up. It's called How to Impress a Girl into Bed After the First Date. Like, first of all, we could wait a little bit. That'll be fine. You don't have to do it after the first date. You could have a second date if you wanted, or a third date. I'll give you the description. This is from shaggergamer.com. It says Vicky, who's the exceptionally unattractive woman who's about to speak to us, lists her crucial do's and don'ts in the art of getting a girl to sleep with you during your first encounter. During your first encounter, again, I can't stress that enough, man. You've just met this person on a crazy dating network, right? You know she likes World of Warcraft, and that's enough. From that, you're just like, right, after this date, we're going home and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the bad thing. That's mental. What sort of? Just crazy. Anyway. We're going to listen to let's listen to the ad, and we'll see what you guys think, because this is the best way we can do this.
I love gaming, and I can go on all day about my kill to death ratio.
Yeah, you and me both, love.
What I really want is to find a feisty gamer guy or even a girl. When introducing yourself to a girl, unless you're into some really serious roleplay, you're going to have to just be yourself.
Okay. I'll try.
Don't fake what you like or try to be interested in something you're not.
Like Mass
sooner
Effect.
or later, you're going to get fragged. You've got to be in the game to win the game. Don't be afraid to connect with them hot girls and don't have no preconceptions.
Hang on a second. Don't be afraid to connect with them hot girls. Well, I'm not afraid. Why would you be afraid? No, that's kind of why I'm here, right? Yeah, first of all. And don't have no preconceptions. All right, like I'm struggling to keep my preconceptions about you, love, like under wraps at this point. Let's carry on.
Be super nice, say hi, ask some questions, but don't get carried away. Too many can sound kind of weird.
I'm not here for talking, after all.
Girls love compliments. We like to hear that we look nice, but don't let their minds go wandering.
So I should point out, at this point in the video, where you shouldn't let your eyes go wandering, the camera cuts to a close-up of her breasts. That's it. You can't see anything else. There's no face or anything like that. She's laying on a bed throughout this writhing, horrible experience. But it's just close up of the breasts now, so don't let those words. Like, look away. Look away, lads. Carry on.
When hooking up with gamers, they might not always be on the same platform as you. Some like beat-em-ups and some like shoot-em-ups.
And some own a Wii.
You know how it is. Some like to give a good spanking, and others just like to try out a big gun or two.
What?
That's not to say that you can't get it on. In my opinion, opposites attract. When you get to a later level, you might have to meet the girl.
What? I haven't even met her. Do you know what I mean? Like, hang on. This is how I'm trying to get her into bed after my first date, but I've not even met her. I was already, like, you told me not to look at her a minute ago. This is, alright.
It's the 21st century. Everyone likes to play a game or two. But be sure you don't turn up looking like you've been playing WoW for 3 days. The shabby locked away in your room look is so 1997.
What? So, like, this is for gamers. Like, the shabby fucking locked in my room, I've been playing World of Warcraft for 3 days look is my look. You know, that's me. I'm a freaking, you know, what are you saying? Not that, you can't now turn that against me. You can't go.
You just got to be yourself, but don't be yourself.
Yeah, try and rein in some of that primal weird geeky shit you're on about.
It's be yourself, don't look like yourself.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? Carry on.
Don't try to be something you're not, but a little
What?
effort is always appreciated. And lastly, no one likes a button basher. To get the really big points, you need to learn some skills and be willing to cooperate. But the most important thing to remember is not to panic. But if you lose your cool and just hammer away at any old button, then I don't think you're going to win any trophies. I think this applies to everything when meeting a gamer girl. So if you want to enjoy a bit of joystick action together, you better remember this, because if you don't...
Hang on. I've got to stop in there. I don't want to experience joystick action with someone else. I don't want there to be two joysticks in the room. I want to bring my own joystick, and you just have a controller port for me to go into. Like, if you're bringing a joystick as well, we have massively become confused somewhere along the line.
You're going to limit your rewards.
Oh, she winks.
This video was brought to you by Data Gaming.
Get out. Yeah, that's the worst thing I've ever known in my life.
It's so sleazy and cringeworthy in one thing. It's just like...
It's the way it can't make up its mind.
I don't think I've ever had a woman make my skin crawl before.
Yeah.
But that does. She's... the whole thing.
She's like a Babe Station reject.
Yeah.
And it's like... But it's the way it confuses, like, what are your metaphors all about? Like, you know, you don't like a button basher, right? Okay, cool. You know, it's just...
It sounds like they've looked up on Wikipedia popular gaming terms and then made sexual innuendos around them, but without actually understanding what those popular gaming terms are.
Well, and without any care or consideration to stopping young people from randomly fucking other young people.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing's just sort of like, at no point in that video does it mention being careful or looking at who are you meeting, who are you having sex with. Safe sex, maybe a good idea to just mention that at some point. Oh, we couldn't find a funny way of getting a game reference into wearing a condom. Like, motherfuckers, it's horrendous.
It does come across as basically a pimp site.
Yeah,
it's like pay us subscription and you can bang this chick right here.
Oh, so it's
shit. I'll drive her around to your house myself.
It's started by like a 21-year-old guy who did Data Gamer and Share Gamer this year. They're both really successful sites, sadly, because that's where sexual predators live. I guess you know it's horrible, absolutely horrible. I don't approve of it, Joe.
Yeah, neither do I. Not at all.
Don't do it.
I'm not going to. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't support them. Just avoid them.
Let that be a lesson. A lesson to you. That wasn't good.
It was horrendous.
That's just knocked the wind out of me. To be honest, I don't really know what to say about that. Let's should we do some Educating Joe?
Yeah. Hopefully it should brighten the mood up.
All right. Let's do it.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Joe. He didn't play many video games as a child. He was too busy out running and jumping through fields, perhaps stealing apples. But then one day, he found himself inexplicably on a video game podcast, and two guys, Mike and Sean, vowed to take him back through time to play the games he missed. This is Educating Joe.
Okay, Educating Joe. We're back on the Super Nintendo. Killer Instinct. You don't like fighting games, Joe?
No.
And Super Nintendo fighting games, or back in 16-bit fighting games, were never that great. Really, they're always quite limited.
Yeah.
And Killer Instinct, the underdog. I think we can safely say. Although, well,
it kind of wasn't.
It was the king. It was the king of the SNES.
It was the king of the arcades. It looked amazing in arcades.
Yeah.
And I remember first going to Troc and seeing it there. And
Troc. Hang on. Whoa. The kid's talking cool. I think you mean the Trocadero in London. But I had to figure that out. I think other people might not figure that out.
Yeah, well,
Went down Troc.
When you're from London.
Yeah.
It's not the Trocadero.
Okay.
It is, going Troc, innit?
Yeah. Man says a ting, then he's a ting.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Okay, so, down the Troc, you're playing Killer Instinct in the arcade.
No, you couldn't get near the machine. They had like 6 of the fuckers, and you just couldn't get near them. There was a massive.
It was a phenomenon. It was phenomenal. This was made by
a
Rare.
Looker. Yeah, it was a good looker.
This was made by Rare.
Just like the chick in the last video.
This was made by Rare, and it was a fancy looking game. It was all sort of CG.
Yeah, CG
almost
rendered,
FMV work.
Yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat, I guess, but more CG, more like Donkey Kong, a bit like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it was exactly. That.
And Killer Instinct, weird fighting game because it's essentially got the move sets from Street Fighter, So you're doing, it's that one thing you test, right? When you go into a fighting game, you're like, can I do a fireball? If I can do a fireball, we're going to get on all right. If I can't, we got some issues. And this has those Street Fighter sort of moves.
Yeah.
But then also it has Mortal Kombat style fatalities.
Yeah.
But then also it's got this new system on top of it, which is Killer Instinct's own, which is the combos, right?
Yeah.
Which aren't impressive to these days because Dante and Bayonetta and Lollipop Chainsaw and all these other things have combos that go into the hundreds, right? But back then that didn't happen. A big combo was like 8 hits.
Yeah.
And this gave you like 100 hit combos.
Yeah, near enough.
Yeah. And it was nuts. But the way those combos work are kind of strange. You kind of just input like a move set, almost like a Mortal Kombat fatality, and then it will kick off a combo that will just keep playing without you pressing any buttons, right?
Yeah.
And as the opponent, you're kind of stuffed if that happens, unless you can dish out something similar, which would be a combo breaker, and then stop the combo from happening.
Yeah, well, you could do relatively long combos within game.
Yeah, sure.
And then it would force an ender. So the way it works is that you have an opener. For example, with Orchid, it's a helicopter kick, and then you've got an extender, which is like light attack, I think, with light punch, and she does the kind of triple hit with her baton, and then you go back into the opener, which again turns into an extender, and then you have a finisher.
Well, because that's the thing. The way you ended rounds in this game was different ways. There were fatalities. I can't remember what the fatalities were called, but they were actual sort of like Mortal Kombat style fatalities. But then also you could end in a combo.
Yeah,
and that became
a
ultra
bigger
combo.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Which was kind of the ultimate FU to the other player. There were also ring outs. Well, not ring outs, but you could knock people off of the edges and they would, like, mode 7 spin down towards the camera and just splat on the ground. The characters are weird in this game. There's a dinosaur in this game.
Riptor.
Yeah, who Joe experienced earlier.
Yeah.
It's also got a very weird setup for the characters' movesets themselves. You have... like one instant character, which I think is Cinder. I don't think he's got... he's fully charged. I think all his attacks are charge moves.
Right.
Possibly Cinder. It might be the robot character. No, he does a Dragon Punch. There's one who's definitely all charge moves, and one who's all instant moves, which is Jargo, the kind of ninja type character. And everybody in between is a variation on that. They'll either kind of have a couple of charge moves and one instant move, or a couple of instant moves and one charge.
What do you explain what you mean by instant moves and charge moves?
So, if you're talking Street Fighter, Ryu is an instant character. Hurricane Kick, Dragon Punch, Fireball. They're all instant. You just do them and they come out.
Yeah.
Guile is a charge character. You charge back for 2 seconds, push forward and punch. He does a sonic boom, charge down for 2 seconds, press it up and kick.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Reverse aerial kick. Where Killer Instinct, most characters are a combination of both, which is completely different from most games.
Yeah, sure. How did you get on with this game, Joe? I'm curious because you don't like fighting games.
Yeah, so...
And it's old.
Yeah, so we picked a Super Nintendo game, which I bastard hard. We picked a fighting game, which I despise. I fucking hate this game with a passion.
Right.
10 minutes is all I've managed to successfully play on this.
That's okay. Well, I forgot when we chose this last week, because the main reason we chose this is because obviously Microsoft renewed their trademark in Killer Instinct. And a few years back, Rare even said that they'd like to put Killer Instinct on XBLA. Okay. Also, it's worth noting that Killer Instinct has never come out on WiiWare or anything like that, despite there being the N64 release of Killer Instinct Gold and the SNES release of Killer Instinct. So it's going to happen on XBLA, which is part of the reason why we've been playing it. But I forgot just exactly how much fun this isn't in single player, because it's bastard hard. The computer uses combo breakers all the time. If you're doing a combo, they're just constantly doing it, and it can be a slog to get through.
So I went into the options and turned it down to easy. It's still so fucking hard, it's beyond belief.
The thing about Killer Instinct is it is a game. It's kind of like Virtual Fighter in that to get anywhere on it, you need to study. You need to put in hours to get anything out of this game at the end of the day.
And I've stepped in, don't play fighting games, so I have no clue what I'm doing really. I'm just throwing random kicks and punches all over, jumping, throwing a jump kick in, I managed to get to the third round on my second try at the tournament. Then I just got fucking demolished by Orchid, and I was like, yeah, that's it, done. I'm just not playing this anymore.
And who are you playing as?
First time I played as Riptor. The second time I played as, what's his name?
Cinder.
That's the one.
The
Cinder,
fireman.
Yeah.
So Cinder's a good choice. I'm always Orchid or Cinder. They're my go-to characters, isn't it? Riptor, man. I'm confused as to why you
Out of
thought
all
that
the
would
characters
at all be a
there.
good character. Like Primal Rage alone makes me put off playing as a dinosaur in any game.
I just thought it'd be amusing to play as a dinosaur, and it
don't
was.
know.
Joe probably hasn't played Primal Rage.
I mean, in fairness, he's going on the same route as I'm guessing developers were. Of, wouldn't it be cool to put a dinosaur in it because dinosaurs are cool? And you're like, yeah, it should be cool to play as a dinosaur.
Yeah.
It just never is.
No.
You know. So yeah, I think maybe you punished yourself by going for Riptor. But I can want to say Sindel, but that's Mortal Kombat, isn't it? So Cinder, Cinder's pretty good. This game was cool. It has awesome music. I think the music's really cool. It came with a CD when it came out called Killer Cuts, which had the soundtrack on it, which was alright. It's unusual for that to happen. And obviously there was a sequel on the N64, Killer Instinct Gold.
Which I'm not fond of.
No, I played quite a lot of that, but it's not as good, I don't think, as Killer Instinct. So, not a fan, Joe. Do you know Street Fighter moves? Can you just pull off a...
No.
If I prompt,
No.
No, not at all. No.
I've played Street Fighter once in the past 5 years, and that was against Sean, and he just fucking demolished me.
Yeah.
But I let him get away with it because he played Call of Duty with me once, and I just demolished him.
No, twice you demolished me on Call of
Yeah.
Duty.
Okay. I like Killer Instinct. I'm not sure... I don't think we'll ever see a new Killer Instinct. I think the XBLA version is what's going to come out from this trademark. I don't think we'll see a new one. Like, what do you do with it? How do you compete with it? You know, it was a fluke that Mortal Kombat came back in such a big way with Mortal Kombat 9, and Street Fighter is still dominating. And there kind of isn't room for another one. Like, where do you... I don't know. I don't know what it can offer. The characters aren't great.
No.
Like, Orchid is kind of wicked, you know, and... but the rest of the characters are a bit crap. They're a bit crap looking.
Or cliche. Idol was like the worst piece of character design ever, and the worst boss to fight against ever. He was just fucking
agreed.
nightmare. The thing where he stamps his foot and recharges his health, and you're just like, oh, your mum. I'm just going to kick you in the nuts and be done with it. Yeah, he was scum. I hated him.
Yeah. Backdrops are just neither here nor there in the game as well. It's kind of like, oh, purple. Let's fight on purple. Because there's no stage select either. You have to enter like a cheat code to get a stage select.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't just automatically choose your stage because they're like, nah, that's ridiculous, man. We can't give the gamers that much control. So you're like, yeah, I'm fighting on the purple stage, fighting on the black stage.
I think I was fighting on a red stage.
Yeah. The whole game, it is a good way of describing how the game looks. The entire game looks like the Rareware logo that spins round at the beginning.
Doesn't look that good.
All right, okay. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it's Killer Instinct. Back in the day, Joe, if you wanted to play a fighting game, and you did want to play a fighting game, you know, okay, there was Street Fighter 2 Turbo or whatever on SNES, but aside from that and Mortal Kombat, there was nothing else. So Killer Instinct was kind of a big deal. It was kind of like, and like Sean says, the arcade game was mental.
Yeah.
It was a real big deal. It was huge.
And by far the best looking thing out there at the time.
Yeah, and what's strange is it was published by Midway.
Yeah.
So it had a real bulky sort of US, out of my way, son, sort of vibe to it, yeah? But it was rare. Like, freaking...
Banjo and Kazooie and
a
Donkey
sort
Kong
of
Country.
British countryside sort of, developer. And yet it had this real bolshy American sort of universal soldier, get the fuck out of my way attitude to it. And so in the arcades, it was a real big deal. The cabinets were huge.
Yeah.
The arcade cabinets were huge. So it was kind of a phenomenon. But
and then they tried to horn it into a Super Nintendo cartridge.
yeah, but they did. I mean, and to be fair, they did a good job.
It was a good port.
They did a good job. It could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
And they gave us ultra combos and combo breakers and the speech. I love the speech.
I didn't get one single combo.
No, that
Doesn't
I mean,
surprise me.
you're not going to enjoy the game as much if you're not getting it. That would be like not getting a gun in Call of Duty.
You've got your fists and you have to punch everyone when they're shooting you.
Punch the Germans.
Okay.
Just for them, that'd be crazy. So yeah, Killer Instinct. It's generic as hell. Even the name, the character designs, the look of it. I was going to say it hasn't aged well. The N64 version has aged worse than this version.
Yes, definitely. But it's kind of had 3D backgrounds, didn't it? The N64 Gold, with the 2D rendered video sprites.
It's going to be really hard to imagine how this game is going to how this game can possibly look good on XBLA in high definition.
Yeah,
Like, I can't imagine what what treatment they have to do to the characters. Like they're just still going to look weird, right? They're going to look like plasticine models or something. Like that's going to be a weird look.
Yeah.
So Killer Instinct, you're not a fan, Joe?
No, I was never going to be a fan. I think I even said on the last episode that I'm not going to be a fan.
Yeah. Have you thought about maybe changing your attitude? Maybe you went in with a negative attitude.
Of course I went with a negative attitude. I hate fighting games.
Okay. Have you thought about Killer Instinct Gold? Maybe giving that a go?
No, not at all.
Well, okay. Maybe
Because you do have an N64 now.
Yeah, I do, yeah. But Killer Instinct's never going near my N64.
Okay.
When's your birthday?
So yeah, Killer Instinct. It's not for everyone, but it is interesting. It's amazing how quickly that game was forgotten. It's amazing that there was only Killer Instinct, Killer Instinct Gold, and they were on 2 different systems.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was the arcade version, but aside from that, that's it. Never went anywhere else. At least Mortal Kombat's and Street Fighters kept going. And it's not like Midway. Midway are obviously gone now, but they were around for a long time. I guess it's down to Rare. I guess they got caught up in various other things, Conker's Bad Fur Day and Blast Corps and stuff like that. But yeah, it's weird that it kind of debuted in quite a big way and then just petered out.
I don't know if it was that strange. Because at some point Rare got bought by Nintendo, didn't they?
At some point. That must have been before then, right? Because they were already making Nintendo games.
Yeah, I can't remember what was published by Midway and what wasn't.
But then you still think wouldn't Nintendo still want this game coming out? Both games were on their system.
Yeah, but Nintendo, like, they're kind of funny.
I guess. Yeah, but at the time, at N64, they were starting to lax on that,
There was that Barbarian game where you could chop people's heads off.
Barbarian?
No, the 1-on-1 fighter.
Barbarian?
Was it?
Yeah, like on the Spectrum.
Weapons Master or something.
Barbarian.
No, on N64.
Right, well, on the Spectrum, and like the Commodore 64, there's a game called Barbarian.
But we're talking about Nintendo.
One-on-one fighter where you chopped off people's heads.
Yeah, there's another one.
Why are you even chatting about that shit anyway? It's about Killer Instinct.
Because we went off on the subject about Nintendo.
You did. This is a bust. I was talking about how it hadn't had any more entries in the series, which was odd. But yeah, that's Killer Instinct. You're not going to play us a game again, Joe. I'm not going to ask you. But next week we're going to play a Mega Drive game. Give some Sega love out there. Again, this is a game that not a lot of people... I don't know. I have a high regard for it because I kind of loved its basic concept. But a lot of people don't necessarily... It's not the best game.
No.
Basically.
It's kind of got... It's a one-trick pony, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's Pony. That wasn't the end of my sentence. Come on, guys. We're going to play Cyborg Justice next week. Joe, this is awesome. It's a side-scrolling robot fighter that also does have one-on-one fights in it, but you get to build your own robot. You want a saw blade in his arm, you got it. And if you're fighting a robot that's got a saw blade as an arm or something else or a rocket or whatever, you can rip it off and put it on yourself.
Sounds awesome.
Exactly. So we're going to play that next week. Cyborg Justice. That was Educating Joe. Okay, that was Educating Joe, and that means we are at the end of the show. A lot of games coming out next week, guys.
Yeah, there are quite a few.
What, Joe?
The one that I'm really looking forward to is the Xbox Live Arcade game, and it's on PlayStation Network. Hell yeah.
Wrath of the Rabbit? Wrath of the Dead Rabbit.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, it looks quite cool. It's Arkido, who makes sort of funky little games. This is their first sort of XBLA release. I think they've got some indie games up on at the moment. And it looks cool. It's kind of Contra-like, I think.
Yeah, it just looks mental.
Yeah.
I'm quite interested.
But there's a ton of other games. The World of Warcraft expansion pack's out, Mists of Pandaria. But obviously, girl gamers aren't keen on that, especially if you've been playing it for 3 days. Our good friends at Excalibur Publishing have Camping Manager out. Yeah? Will you use the stove? Will you use the portaloo? Will you... Yeah. That's
all the camping
Manager.
terminology you know.
Yeah, basically. Dead or Alive 5 is out.
Really?
Yeah. You remember Dead or Alive?
Yeah.
Not
Dead or
keen.
Alive's like Tekken. It's the one that's on the outside trying to push its way in.
Apparently they asked 343 if they could use a Spartan again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they got turned down again.
No, they didn't get turned around the first time,
Did they not?
No, because there's Nicole, isn't there, in Dead or Alive...
I don't know. I don't play Dead or Alive.
Is it Dead or Alive 3? Or which one is it? It's one of them. They've got this full-on Spartan.
Okay.
It's awesome. But yeah, no, they didn't have time, so it didn't work out. FIFA 13's out on basically every single platform known to man.
Yep.
Mugen Souls on the PS3. I don't know what that is. Omerta, City of Gangsters on the PC. I don't know what that is. Puzzler World 2012 3D on the 3DS. I don't really know what that is. Rocksmith's out on 360 and PS3.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is another, it's the wait for me, guys. The late to the party music
Very
game.
late to the party.
Fairly interesting. Ski World 2012 PC. I think that might be another Excalibur game.
Sounds like it.
The Bridge Project on PC. Again, I have no idea what that is. Thundercats on a DS.
Yeah, I might try and have a look.
Yeah, it's based off the new cartoons,
Yeah.
so that might be quite cool. War of the Roses on PC. This is supposed to be very, very, very good.
I have heard good things about it.
We Sing the 80s on Wii, which is great. That's got to have already come out 5 times, surely, on that platform. And then Marvel vs. Capcom Origins on XBLA and PSN, which, again, fighting game. So there's quite a lot of games out.
Yep.
I'm still trying to track down the Testament of Sherlock Holmes that came out last week, because...
It doesn't exist.
No, it does. I want to see it.
No, physically.
You have to see it to believe it. But yeah, so we'll see that. So there's a load of games out. We'll be playing some stuff. We're going to obviously have Borderlands and probably some more FTL as well. Joe, you're off to Eurogamer.
Yes, I am on Friday.
Yeah, you looking forward to that?
I am psyched for it.
So you should be getting to play some Halo 4
Yeah.
and some Wii U.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Call of
yeah.
Duty.
Yeah, I'll probably play Call of Duty, new Medal of Honor. Anything else that's out there? I may have a look
Anything else
at
with guns.
Gears of War.
Set in a war setting.
There's quite a lot of stuff that's going to be
Yeah.
there this year, so you'll be able to see some nice stuff. So we'll have that to talk about next week as well. In the meantime, well, you can always email us if you want to get in touch. Email us at thingsweplay@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter at thingsweplay. Do check out the website, www.thingsweplay.net. You can check out our video show, extra credits on there, as well as other bits from the episodes and various other nonsense. It's well worth a look. And yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Later.
Goodbye.